Hello, everybody. I'm going to give some people some time to get in here. There's only 22 of us. So um, if you do want to speak at a certain point, you just got to click unmute. And then that raises your hand, and I'll click on you, and you'll be unmuted for the rest of the call. But everybody joining on right now is automatically muted just to, people jump on and have their mics open and are talking about, their husband's issues in the background. We're just going to keep it like this for now. I will be back. Thank you for being patient. Magic! Hi, Magic.
Hi.
How are you?
Lovely.
I haven't talked to you in like a day. I miss you, dude. How's it going? Things going good?
Yeah, I was just chilling today.
No, I feel that.
Getting all my stuff out. Doing gym stuff.
I slept 13. I woke up at 1:30 p.m. today. I went to bed at midnight, and I woke up at 1:30 p.m. I guess my body's tired, and my brain. Don't forget to rest, y'all.
Yeah, I'm just gonna listen and chill.
Yeah. No worries.
I started recording really early.
I hit record, once I started it.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Just remember, it only records 4 hours, so you're gonna have to start over.
Okay. I'm not planning on this going too long today. I just want to check in with everybody, and we had a bunch of new people come on, so I want to make sure we're all on the same page. There's still people like kind of not accepting the simpleness of the process and like asking questions about, things that we don't do with this. So I just want to go over everything, clarify, and I got to see where Kimmery is. So I'll be right back. I got to call her, and we'll get started.
Take your time, my dude. We're here.
Thank you, man.
Hey, Magic, happy birthday.
What, it's your birthday?
Happy birthday, Magic.
Your best friend.
Why didn't you tell me? You don't know my birthday, so chill. Happy birthday. How old are you? 21?
Oh, yeah. I'm going back in time.
Yay. You going to do anything?
Well, we already did what we did. Now I'm just chilling.
There you go.
Now, do you celebrate the day, or you celebrate the week, or are you into the month now? Because I'm into the month. After my 40s, I'm into the month.
You know?
I don't know. I had to be reminded. I was like, another day? Okay.
I don't like putting a finite thing, on our infinite souls. So, hey, I get that. Yeah. We just got to remember we're immortal. Our spirit is immortal.
I was celebrating the fact that, like, all of us in the banker and in the WIFID and all this and now this thing, we've stuck it out. We've stuck it out and stuck together. So
yeah,
sure have. And yeah, it's a constant battle in my brain, anxiety, and then you're like, what if I'm just tripping and this is all fake? But then you snap out of it, so I get it. Yeah. I can't believe this is the reality of the situation. Yeah, no, I feel it. Kimmery.
Hey, everybody.
Hello. It's Magic's birthday, Kimmery.
Oh, my God. Okay, we're all going to start together now. Ready?
Wait, we got it on you. Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday dear
Magic.
Happy birthday to you.
Ready?
Yeah,
And many more.
That
Now
was
let's do it in Spanish, guys. Let's do it in
beautiful.
Spanish.
Big numbers in my transcript.
Big numbers in my transcript. Who's going to make a song about that?
Probably you, yep. Not me freaking already checking my transcript every day. They just got it yesterday and I'm beyond excited to see that number pop up. I did look into that, by the way, y'all. They do claim themselves that it's 7-ish days, so upon receipt. So just keep that in mind. And yeah, okay, we got about 40 in here. I think we can get started. Okay, so if you guys do have
just real quick before you move on from that beautiful update for us about the 7 days, if I were a good bookkeeper and I was a treasure hunter and I had a little bit of time on my hands, okay, regarding the transcripts, I would go in and look as far back as you can, and I would highlight any withholding that got taken out of your W-2s or your W-9s or taxes that you paid. It's all on the transcript. Any number with a negative sign in front of it, cha-ching, you get to start adding it up for that year. Yeah, don't forget.
So you're saying, because, okay, I actually didn't even look at that part of my transcript. So you're saying that if we have a withholding that we quote unquote gifted to our lovely accounting firm for the United States, we can claim that back on what?
Well, first of all, you need to go back and look at the withholding and get your calculator out so you can get excited. Start adding up, just aggregate all those numbers, okay? Taxes paid, withholding. You want to look at the WI transcript, which is the withholding and income transcript, okay? When you look at that, just highlight all those numbers and add them up for the year. That's considered taxes that you paid, or another word for it is an excise tax, or another word is a laid off credit that you didn't know then, but you know now you can collect. So what I would do, because I'm a treasure hunter and someone gave me their transcript to look at, you could watch me do this with my highlighter pen, right? I would highlight all the negative signs, right? All the negatives in front of the numbers. Then I would add that up and I go, was that enough for me to live on last year? What the credits that I abandoned? Literally, I didn't collect them. You got a tax return based on what you reported. They charged you all kinds of tax and gave you a pittance back in a tax return, right?
Right.
So the tax return should even show on there, which is also exempt because that's not considered income. So that's a laid off wager, what we call a laid off credit for later collection, right?
Right.
So I would just add them all up and go, and I would say to myself or the person that I'm sitting at the desk with, I would say, okay, is $65,000 a year, were you able to live comfortably on that, or would you like to give yourself a raise? Because I'm basically seeing the withholding box and all these different taxes you paid and all that stuff, right? Expenses, all that, wherever you see the negative. And they would say, well, I wouldn't mind making double next year. Well, then they have the basis now, 65,000 times 2, whatever they're comfortable with. Now they can do the ESs for 65,000 times 2. Now their transcript is a basis for the ES and giving yourself a raise. Because after you had a treasure hunter look at your transcript and your bank statements, did you not spend all the money that you got?
Right.
Even if you invested a little bit of it, that's a laid off wager to collect or liquefy in the future, isn't it? And get this, every dollar that grandma spends of her $1,200 a month stipend at the casino, it's going to show up on her bank statements. And she gets to now get back $200 a month times 12 times 9. So I just gave you 2 scenarios for a basis for an ES, a basis for a raise, or a basis for a B, even if all we do is 1 B a year, and it's plenty for us. Make sense, Marduk?
Yes, I believe so. Yes.
I'll answer a question if someone's light bulb didn't go off yet.
So the way I want to do this too, guys, since it was pretty messy last time with questions, everybody mute, please. Everybody mute, please. What you're going to do is you're going to go in the welcome chat and you're going to type question, okay? And I'll start from the top and call on you guys when you have a question, just so we don't have anybody interrupting anybody or talking at the same time. So please, if you have a question, write question in the welcome chat and I'll call on you, and then I'll heart it. Once we call on you, we can go down the list. Is that fair to everybody? I just want to make sure we're doing this in an orderly fashion. So Lisa, yes, do you have a question?
I do. I was looking at my transcripts, and I had I took a 401k withdrawal. I haven't worked since 2019. I was living off of my savings, but when I look at my transcript, what they withheld was like $83,000 from that withdrawal for taxes. It doesn't show as a negative number, so I was a little confused, because if I can recoup that, shouldn't it be negative? But it's a positive number. It's not a negative number.
Which transcript are you looking at? Account transcript?
It was under I believe the wage and income. I can go back in there and take a look.
Let me answer it. Let me answer it for her. Okay. Let me tell you why it's not showing as a negative on your transcript. Okay. When you pull a 401k or a bond and you actually liquidate that, the system considers that income, brand new income. 401k drop down 65,000, whatever it was, right? Brand new income that's taxable. The system knows that every tax you pay, even on a drawdown or liquidity of a bond or a 401k or an investment, maybe someone in your family passed away and they sold the house, or they had major stock in a railroad company, and each one of the grandchildren got a stock. Okay. Uh-huh. The moment that gets presented for sale, there's a transition tax from the private to the public. We just didn't know that every tax you pay, you get back everything you paid to draw that bond down, dollar for dollar, once you claim it, that you paid it. So where it looks like on your transcript, it looks like income, you also had to pay a tax on that, or at least when your taxes were prepared for you, right? The system, the AI, counted that as income, so you probably had to pay more in tax.
I did.
Okay, so guess what happens? If you enjoyed that increase in income, think about that amount when you're putting your ES together. Imagine if we all could actually pull down $250,000 a year. None of us would be sitting here doing paperwork. We'd all be teaching people how to write big checks. So do you see why there's no negative in front of it? but I turned it into a treasure, didn't I? Because I reminded you that the tax you paid on it, you get that back times 10 if you do a B. Or it could be a basis for a 1040 ESV if you're not graduated to that level where you want to start working on 1041s just yet, because some people still have to get their paperwork together. So if all you're doing is a 1040, what if it's your great aunt? What if
I'm ready to do
she
1041s.
I know
I'm
you are.
already
I know.
there.
I'm saying
Okay.
this for the group call right now. What if
Gotcha.
it was your aunt, right, who's filing a 1040 SR senior, and she had to draw down one of her 401ks or her retirement bonds, right? And she was taxed on it. You would be able to share with her what I just shared with you.
Gotcha.
Make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. We're not AI. We're the designee, competent party, age of majority, competent to state so, or competent to sign a contract, an affidavit under penalty of perjury. These are my records. These are my facts. This is my statement of how much I would like to credit. I would like for you to sell of my bonds, draw it down. Because it's an ES and a V, it's considered an excise tax, dollar for dollar, every tax you pay, or the credit. Remember, we're doing the credit in front of it. So every credit number you find and locate is yours, gets returned back to you.
Got it. Thank you.
Makes sense? It's so exciting, isn't it? All right. Thank you, Marduk.
Of course. Does that answer your question, Lisa?
It does.
Okay, beautiful. Looks like we have Blue Horseshoe. You have a question, brother?
Yes, I have a question, and it was about that because I have plenty of my wages and income in this, a lot of it, that I did a lot of 1099Bs that was reported through IRS. But I was wondering, do I have to wait for them to show up in a negative before I can take advantage of any of this process? And I think that answered my question. Lisa did.
There you go.
Thank
Good.
you.
So give it back to us from your tongue.
The 1099Bs that I sent and I submitted, right? Those all show up with federal withheld, has proceeds and has federal withheld. But so I'm claiming that I've also paid taxes on that if I claim those credits. Correct?
Well, pretend like you're teaching your 20-year-old nephew, and try not to figure it out, but rather pretend like you're teaching your nephew, and just kind of role play with us. That way, the answer will come from within while you're trying to give him the good news. The kingdom is at hand, and here's what it sounds like. So pretend it's not your transcript you're sharing with us right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I'm just being blown away right now by listening to what
I know.
you just implied.
I know. That's why I'm wanting you to actually role play with us. I can tell that the light bulbs went off for you. And we have to be careful not to let emotion get us carried away, because then we'll lose our ability to teach, and we'll just kind of go back into the I. My transcript, me, my return, my B's. And then you start asking questions because we start doubting ourselves. That's just kind of the human nature. You know what I mean? So that when I asked you to give it back to me, it's like the Socratic method of learning, right? Is when someone's light bulb goes off, share with everybody what you just got. Like you just got your question answered, and you could benefit all of us by kind of at least attempting to share with us the distinction that you just got.
And Ms. Kimmery, I preface this with this, right? We were taught by another guru not to put anything in the federal withheld. Don't put anything in there. So then you're shocked, like, oh shit, I better not do nothing. I'm going to get me jammed up later on. But then you have somebody else telling you, yep, go ahead and put it in there, and go ahead and put it in this box. So then you have conflicting gurus telling you different things, and you're not, like me, I was not sure. Is this going to cause me a problem later on?
Okay. So hold on. We might have a liability here. Hold on a second. So you filed 1099Bs already.
Yes.
And did you file the way that the Get Your Credits Back talks about, where you put the proceeds as one number and then the barter as 10 times the amount back?
Yes, I did a couple of those. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And who's the recipient?
Myself. Yeah, the straw man
Okay.
was the recipient. The Social Security number was the recipient. The one that was
Okay.
issuing the EIN sole
Okay.
prop.
Okay. EIN sole prop paid the social.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you did a couple B's, and what's going to happen now is, in order for them to cut you a check from the withholding box, they simply have to audit your account, since the claimant is the recipient. Does that make sense? The sole prop is like your adult self, and your social is like your minor that can't talk, right?
Correct.
So that there's nothing wrong with that. However, in order for them to be sure, because as soon as you put something in the withholding, that's what's due back to you, my man. Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So all they have to do, they just have to look and make sure that the beans on either side of the scale, that everything lines up. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So are you saying that it's possible that your B's that you did a little while ago might now show up on your wage and investment transcript? And actually, yes, you're exactly right. The withholding amounts are going to show as negative. Yes. That's a good thing. Now, the B's will show up on wage and investment if you filed them actually, help me out, everybody. When she went through the instructions and she told you what I think she said 30,000 went in one of the boxes, but I can't quite remember.
And that 30,000 is 30,000 gallons of fuel. And they said to also not put 30,000 because that causes an investigation on that amount, to put it lower than that, 15,000, 20,000. That would not warrant them to do a further investigation into that highest amount.
Well, so hold on a second. So what everybody needs to understand, the minute someone has a withholding, it's called a claim. They have a fiduciary duty not to pay a criminal, a terrorist, or an illegal, or someone who's had their identity stolen within the last 3 years. So we need to stop with this business about we're worried about getting an audit. That is pro quo for them. Business as usual, easy peasy. That's what the accountants do all day and all night. There's no more someone sitting there judging you that you don't deserve this or that or this or that. So I don't know who's out there teaching you to not follow those instructions. I need you to understand that those instructions were permitted to be given through this attorney. And I'll just even call her what she probably is. Either an estate attorney or a tax attorney. So, and that's why she said, don't gatekeep and do not charge for this information. Literally just hand the instructions to someone you love and let them study and let them work at their own pace. It's an open book test, basically, right? So I don't want to get into super analyzing your scenario at this moment, because we need to follow the instructions on the B to a T. Then we need to follow what we showed that I've done that makes all these ESs and Bs show up on the transcript as a credit. Okay? If we're changing anything or we're doing anything different, then you're testing, and you'll just have to come back to one of our roundtables when you have your transcripts in front of you and when you're happy with what you see and you're ready for the next step. So
And
the
if you
first
look
thing I would
on,
say is you've got to follow the instructions. I can't stress that enough.
And another thing, Miss Kimmery, when I was looking at your transcripts on the estimated payments, it also showed up as a positive. It was 2 point something million
That was not a positive.
on the far right.
I'll
And that's what I was
you have to
wondering.
look at account balance, brother. If you look on the account transcript, there's 4 options. Okay, the first at the top left is account transcript, and then that's where it says any minus sign below signifies a credit amount. Right below that, her account balance is negative 2.2. Right below that. Now, when you're looking at where they're totaling everything, that's not showing the entire balance. If you scroll all the way to the bottom of account transcript, which is the top left option out of the 4 boxes you choose from, the first one on the top left, and you click 2023 and you scroll all the way down to transactions at the bottom of the page, it'll show you your W-2 or 1099 withholding. Like mine's a negative amount there. So that's what she's talking about. When you look at the wage income one that she mentioned, mine are all positive there. But when you look at the account transcript, the first option, it shows the negatives, and that's where it says the information, any minus sign shown below signifies a credit amount. So I would look at the account transcript at the very bottom and see what your 1099 withholding on that is. It should be negative.
Yeah, that makes sense, Marduk. 2 different sections for the different transcripts could show different values. Correct. Thank you. And
No problem.
I apologize, Ms. Kimmery. I didn't mean to second guess.
Thank you for that clarity, actually, both of you. Thank you for that, Marduk. I wasn't sure. You know, I'm such a researcher and a scanner. I'm always going really fast. So I'm really glad that you're able to kind of, you know, put the finer points in. So appreciate you bringing clarity to that for everybody.
Of course. No, my pleasure. So yeah, if you guys are all wondering when she's talking about transcript, it's account transcript, which shows for the tax year your balances, like what's owed to you and what you owe to them. Typically, if you owe them, when you log into the IRS portal, it'll tell you balance due, like on the page before you even click on any transcript. So if that's 0 for balance due, most likely when you get into the transcript and you see the large numbers and it's not showing up as a balance due on your main page, then you're most likely golden. But for everybody who is looking for the negative, I'm going to show you. Like mine hasn't cleared obviously yet, but this is what the account transcript looks like. Here we go. Right here. Any minus sign signifies a credit amount. Okay. Kim Marie's right here, account balance, if you look at the screenshot of hers, is negative 2.2 million. So when we submit these ESs for any given tax year, like if you just did 2023, you're going to have to go to your 2023 transcript because that's what you paid towards and that's where it's going to show up. And this is where the ES payment will show up when you credit it. It'll be a negative here, okay? It's at the top middle of the page. I don't want to scroll up anymore because it has my personal information, but
there's also a line item for it, Marduk. It actually says ES payments with a negative sign in front of it.
In the transactions probably, huh?
No. You're on the account one. If you go to the wage and income, I think it is. Let's see.
That's the bottom left when you're looking at the website.
I'm sorry. It's the transcript that actually shows your tax return, Marduk, and it actually has all the line items that the computer and the system came up for, you know, what was reported into the system that spit out your tax return. So that's the tax return account.
So
you guys, you'll actually see ES payments on that one. You'll see on most of them it's 0 because none of us knew to do this.
And Laura just posted pictures on how you can get to that in the welcome chat. So if you guys don't know how to utilize irs.gov, if you go to the welcome chat, she just did a picture by picture play on what you click to get to your transcripts. So there's that. But I hope that answers your question, brother. Definitely go check that out and see what's up. And the main point we wanted everybody to do is to just get your vouchers in, and we'll worry. I know a lot of you have questions about the 1040 and how to go about doing that. But the first thing we want to do is create the credit and have the credit show owed to you, right? So don't try to stress yourself out getting a bunch of steps ahead. We're not going anywhere. We're going to be here. But the first thing everybody can do is get those vouchers and your ES payment in, okay? And they go together. The ES and the V go together to the ES office, that to your pertaining state. There's in the instructions of the ES, there's different places to send your voucher and your ES payments. You're going to send them to where the ES says that you need to send them together, okay? You can send them all for the past 3 years in one package, if according to Kim Marie. Kim Marie, I did notice one thing, like on the 2024, the address has changed on the ES as opposed to the 2023. So I don't know if that's going to be an issue. And there's another thing. There's the voucher, the 1040V for 2024 is a draft currently. It's not it says do not file. So I don't think we should.
Well, right, because normally, so let's think about 90% of the population that files quarterlies as a sole proprietor, as a LLC, single member LLC, S corp, C corp, you name it, they file quarterlies on 941s all day long, right?
Sure.
During the quarters. So the V is not accessible because the 941 actually has its own V. Brothers and sisters, your LLC and your sole prop can file 941s. There's actually a V attached to that when you order them from the IRS. Or if you file on Tax 1099, there's a V attached if you're willing to set up ES payments and authorize the Treasury fiduciary to debit your account that many credits. It'll create credits for you. But here's the thing. It's a little bit of a graduated process because a lot of times people are taking their 941s, their quarterlies that they plan on paying taxes on. They take it to their CPAs. The CPAs or their trust attorneys or their wealth managers, whoever they've made a power of attorney for their estate, normally are the ones that file the quarterlies. So it took me a long time to do the formulas, figure it all out, and do that, let's just call it quote unquote corporate filing. So here's what I want to say. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy right now. Because we learned this B process now, in my humble opinion, we're turning our corporate fiction, all caps, sole prop, corporation into a living heir of the Republic. And that's why we're noticing SOS. That's why we're noticing the AG. That's why we're noticing the IRS. Because we're coming forward as living and not a corporate fiction that can be taxed to death even after it's dead or terminated. They still swipe credits from those corporations. Just saying.
So we did have.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say we had some people that still had questions, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Looks like we have Jane. Thank you for waiting patiently, friend.
Thanks.
Did you have a question?
Yeah, my question is, I know some other people had sort of asked the same question. There are those of us who filled out, have done the whole ROIs and became state nationals or whatever you want to call them. But I have filed also with the IRS since, I don't know, 22, I guess is when I basically announced that that's what I was doing. And I have an LLC, but it's actually part of a private business trust, which is also not taxable. So I look at my transcript, which I never looked at until today. I looked, and it's just zero all the way back to 2019 when I paid the last time. So I'm in, and I've always had CPAs and everything, and it's taken me, several months to accumulate all the pieces of paper that they needed to make all the deductions and everything else. So I am I'm 74. I'm feeling like I am like a total idiot out here in La La Land trying to figure this out. So
You are not an idiot. Just the system, because we're in transition right now, the system has looked at those of us that have been independent contractors, or in my case, I've been operating out of my charitable remainder trust since 2009.
Yep.
Even though I'm not a trust fund baby and it was never earning any money and I was the only one putting money in there and paying my bills out of it, those people are considered, 1099 people or people on disability are considered exempt. They're foreign to the taxation, as I call it. The taxation bracketeering, right? The racketeering, I'm trying to be nice. Okay. Yeah. So there's I would say 75% of the population is on a stipend, retired, disabled, military, dual citizen. Even the dual citizens, they only have to report 6 months out of the year, even when they're back and forth different countries, again, kind of comes off the military sort of protocol. And only if you earned, what is it? There's a threshold. I think it's like 17,000 or more. Because 17,000 technically is a gift that you get to not have to report or pay taxes on. 17,000. It went up from 14 to 17.
I'm considerably more than that, but I have worked to become tax exempt, rather, because I have spent many, many years since 1986 when I started my first business, and I have paid out the ass. I mean,
absolutely. But let's be clear what exempt is for everybody so they can follow along with us, Jane. Okay. Exempt means exempt from being taxed unless you are a business that has a retail license.
Yeah.
Or you're a hairdresser or a dentist and you work physically with the public and you could physically injure a person in the public. You have to have an S Corp, and that entity has to pay.
I was a landscape architect. I had a license in 2 states. I totally get it. I had like 3, S Corps, because I had a wine and liquor store, and I had, I had a garden center, and I did all that. I sold all those, had nothing to do with those, but because I'm running a ranch, I'm just here on a ranch.
So guess what? Here's the good news and the bad news. The good news is, okay, we're about to become exempt actually for the first time in history. We're actually by what we're doing, we're actually exempting ourselves by paying ourselves. The bad news is no matter what you do through whatever vessel you do it, they're gonna always come after the entity that created the vessel as the surety. Whether it's your estate getting sued, or your person, your all caps person. Normally, that's the one that's getting sued. Normally, that's the bank that's getting levied because it happens to be in the public. Or that's the vessel that's getting illegally detained for a non-criminal charge in jail. It's the all caps vessel it's not exempt from suit, garnish, billing offers. The estate can be sued because normally when someone dies, The estate goes through probate if there's any kind of money there, because a bunch of attorneys come in like sharks and want to eat up all the estate money. Okay.
Yep.
And so what the estate can be sued. A trust cannot, and nor can a trustee. It's in the bylaws, and that's why they needed to see all my articles at Jefferson Bank. They needed to see if there was a penalty for me not, number one, showing private information to a bank in the public, because I can be fined on my irrevocables. In my articles, any trustee can be fined $100,000 if they share any of the trust private information in the public, and fired, obviously, and held liable in their personal capacity if we catch the theft. If a trustee takes your private stuff and puts it in a public venue, that's actually stolen identity, essentially. Someone's trying to profit off your identity. So when we're working all hard to get our, sovereignty and our, secured party creditor and all that stuff, what people don't realize is that you're exempt until you're not, until you're sued. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the state, the nanny's job. If someone's put a complaint in you against your business, okay, they slipped on your floor while they were picking their liquor up off your shelf, your ass has to put the claim in with the insurance company, don't you?
Yep.
100%.
Which is why I sold all those things. I have nothing to do with the public.
Right. I understand that. Here's the thing, though. They gave us a social security card so we could work in the marketplace. They allowed us to get a sole proprietor if we wanted to work in our home and pay ourselves as a home worker, or an estate, paying your home worker to clean your toilet instead of paying someone else to clean your toilet. Just pay your goddamn self, because you're the only one cleaning the fucking toilet. Right?
Right. Yep.
So what they've done is they've created this home worker thing, okay, or withholding EIN worker. It doesn't matter. There's so many choices. It's mind-boggling when you go to the IRS, okay? So we want we've always actually been in the private until we started transacting in the marketplace. What we didn't realize until now is that we, little tiny goldfish, never meant to hurt a single person in our little fish tank. Have you ever seen how the fish avoid each other? They never bump into each other. Okay? We just happen to be swimming in a fish tank with very hungry sharks. And we're worth more to the banks and the courts, dead or detained, than we are transacting in commerce at the market down the street. Sorry, but they have been hunting for us for decades. We are where the money is for them. So we're now learning how to be, we're the bridge. Picture yourself, the five-pointed star, and you're straddling the bridge, okay? We're pulling in heaven on earth. Why? Because we are the very few courageous people who are willing to learn how this marketplace can work for our benefit for a change. And by doing that, we are sucking the oxygen out of the fish tank, and those sharks simply will not be able to survive our light and our plans and what we're doing. They will not. Banks will not survive. They're not Basel III compliant enough. The collateral that they have in their banks cannot withstand one lawsuit from us, let alone 10 bees.
Yeah. I tried to go for a loan because I was out of cash because I had somebody living with me who unfortunately had been taking advantage, but that's, neither here nor there. And I went to the bank for $100,000 and they said, "Oh, sorry, you haven't filled out any IRS forms for the last 3 years. So nope, nothing for you."
Well, guess what? You get to get back everything you helped that person with, even if it was cash. You're going to march yourself down to the little Office Depot or you can order it on Amazon. It'll literally be on your doorstep the next night. They do not mess around when it comes to commerce. You can order your whatever it could be your full name if you want, or if you want to keep your name out of the public, let's say it could be your initials, okay? And it could say sole member on it, the receipt, sole member, SOLE, MBR, right?
Yep.
Or it could
Yep.
be EX even. It could be TR if you want, whatever. But it's basically you get to write a receipt out, put the date on it. You can even average it out. You can look at your bank statements and you can see when you went to the ATM and got cash out. If you paid cash, it's all on your bank statements anyway, unless you bartered and you gave him a cow for his work on your farm. But even that's
Yep.
in an inventory somewhere, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you get all that back times 9 now. Guess why? That the name of that person that you helped, that basically ghosted you or performed usury. Okay, the scales got off balance. You helped a little too much, and they took advantage. And now they're persona non grata. Now you have a duty to your trust to report all those transactions, and you get them all back times 10. And all you have to do is check the box like the instructions say, no TIN provided.
Which stands for tax identification number, guys.
Right? Now,
And
we don't have to worry about them going and auditing a person because that person is also a sovereign who has unlimited credit. And your claim, by the way, Jane, on that B, every claim Jane turns in is what I call a bona fide claim. In good faith, you helped that man, didn't you, or that woman? In good faith. And so, therefore, your claim is also bona fide and in good faith. So you get back 10 times the amount because in this meritocracy that we're moving to, all good deeds will be given from the Father. We just didn't know it would be times 10.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
And
I have figured out every single dime that I've lost, and I tried to tell this person this is how much they owed, but this person has nothing. So it's like, trying
do they have a social security?
Oh, this person's from Canada.
I do want to clarify something that you brought up a couple days ago too. And for everybody who's been following the 1099B process and your trust, this is, I don't know if y'all can see my screen, but this is California probate code. Okay. This goes to show why you need to read and understand what you're doing and not just follow somebody's process or what they're telling you to do. Okay. There have been a lot of people talking about recording their entire trust with the county. First and foremost, trusts are private. Nobody, and I mean nobody, can ask you for the body of your trust. Period. The whole point of it is that it's private. What does this say here? A, the trustee may present certification of trust to any person in lieu of providing a copy of the trust instrument to establish the existence or terms of the trust. A certification of trust may be executed by the trustee voluntarily or at the request of the person with whom the trustee is dealing. And it even goes to tell you the only stuff you have to provide on that certification. This is California. It's a little more, a lot of other states don't even require all of this. So I encourage you all to look at your probate code dealing with trust certifications, okay? And right here it says, a certification of trust may confirm the following facts or contain the following information. The date, the existence of the trust, and the date of execution of the trust instrument. Identity of the settlor or settlers and the currently acting trustee or trustees of the trust. You don't even have to tell them who the beneficiaries are. The power of the trustees, the revocability or irrevocability, so is it revocable or irrevocable, and the identity of any person holding power to revoke the trust. When there are multiple trustees, the signature authority of the trustees indicating whether all or less than all of the currently acting trustees are required to sign in order to exercise various powers of the trustee. The trust identification number, whether it's a SSN or EIN. So that means on your trust certification, you put your EIN you got from the SSN from the IRS on there. The manner in which the title to the trust assets should be taken, the legal description of any interest or real property held in the trust. That's it. That's all you need to show to a bank, to the state, to the attorney general, to anybody. They cannot require you to show them your bylaws or your entire body of the trust. This is it. So I just wanted to clarify that because I know we were talking about that the other day, Jane, and a lot of people have already executed their trusts and put everybody on notice and recorded the entire thing with the county, which this is something that, you want to keep private and sealed in your own home. You just created your own rules that only you and your trustees have to follow. And nobody needs to know what that is besides what the trustee is allowed to do. But when it comes to your beneficiaries and all that, you can keep that private. So I just wanted to throw that out. Now, as for the Canada thing, I don't know. Kimberly, would you have any idea? I know that we have treaties with them regarding a lot of our laws, so I'm assuming they have something similar when it comes to Social Security. I just don't know how that works with interstate. Sure.
They have a SIN, Social Identification Number.
Isn't that funny? SIN? Yeah. I just don't know how that works with reporting to, because jurisdiction is, within specific lines, meets and bounds. And I don't know if the federal jurisdiction leaks into Canada, like our federal jurisdiction, and what treaties and rules they have. So, Kimberly, would you happen to know if this person, she's doing business in the United States. So, I mean, how would you go about invoicing someone who, or 1099-ing them if they're not a U.S., their taxpayer isn't a U.S. citizen, Kimberly, you there? She's been dealing with her puppy, guys, who is back home and doing a little bit better, but she'll probably be in and out of the call. So, Jane, did you get any of your question answered there? I'm sorry.
I kind of still somewhat out here in limbo land, but that's okay. I mean, I've taken enough time. I'm sure I'll yield to somebody else having a question.
Sure. And the first step is getting paid, regardless of whether or not you revoked your tax exempt status. What you're doing, or whether or not you are tax exempt, what you're doing is sending them $250,000, which will create an overpayment for that year. And then since you have no tax liability for that money, since you had no taxable events or that you reported, all of that is available for you to request back in a refund, if that makes sense. So
it does. I just don't know how to fill it. Like, she was talking about what my situation would be similar to what she was saying she'd had. I mean, I have always had CPAs, and, like I said, it would take me 3 weeks to just put the stuff together to hand to them. Well, I'd be accumulating all year, but I finally had to organize it. So I've never filled out a 1040. I either had a husband who's now, all my husbands are dead. So I had 3 of them and they're all dead. So there you go.
Oh, no.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Life in the fast lane. What can I tell you?
I feel you, girl. I feel you. Okay. We
Thanks.
have Ray. My pleasure. Ray King, brother. How you doing? Ray, you still there, my man? Ray, final call for Ray King. You have a question, brother? Okay, we'll get back to you then, brother. Again, if you guys do have questions, just type question in the chat. You don't even have to write it out. It's just a fair way for me on here to make sure everybody gets to have their chance to speak and we're not talking over each other. But it looks like we have Leon. Did you get your question about the transcript answered? It looks like Laura there kind of gave some step-by-step on how to do that.
Yeah, she helped me out.
All right. Thank you, brother. Okay. Too many people are typing in here. I'm sorry. Let's see. If you guys can hold your conversations in one of the other threads, that would be great, just so I can have people who are asking actual questions for the call type in the welcome chat. Otherwise, it's hard for me to kind of get know who needs to have a question answered. And George Vaca. Okay. Oh yeah, she said sorry. I'm back to my pup, Kim Marie. So she's part.
No,
And
I'm back. I went away in case you guys were calling me. I went away for a minute. My dog just came in from a walk, and it's I don't know exactly what goes on, but he was fine until he went for a walk. So we just had to put a little castor oil on his abdomen. So he's better now. But I didn't know if you guys were calling me, and I just threw the phone down to go help him real quick.
No, you're fine. Yeah, I mentioned that. I said your pup's still, going through some stuff, so you'll be in and out of the call. But we did want to clarify for Jane. So Canada, I know, has a bunch of treaties with us, and that person she's dealing with that owes her that money is from Canada. So how would that work in terms of the bees? It looks like Lisa just put, is Canada part of the USA? And then code for Georgia, Title 40, it says state means a state, territory, possession of the USA, District of Columbia, Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, or a province in Canada. So that's kind of the idea that I had as well.
Can you mute?
That was interesting. Okay. And then again, if you guys have questions, please type question in the chat. I will get to you so we're not talking over each other. Looks like Kimmery stepped away for a second again too.
No, I'm here. I'm
Okay.
here. I was checking on that person's profile to see if he was a real person or not. Okay. So where was the transaction?
United States.
Yeah. So that's all we need to know for now. And then guess who else needs to get paid on a B? Miss
Who?
Jane.
So, but if you're reporting, you would just put TIN, you don't have the TIN, and you would just put her name then, I guess. Yeah.
Well, no, because if Jane bartered her signature with all of the bank transactions, a bank is considered a marketplace when it's a public bank account, right? So that's why she gets to put who was the recipient of all of your transactions in total. So every transaction with Walmart, let's say, okay, the bank, so in my case, the bank, I deposited my check. So I deposited my check in the bank, and I get to do a B on 10 times the amount now that they froze and sent back to the Treasury. The recipient of that 1.8 is going to be the headquarters of the bank. Just like you helped someone with $500 and it was a social. If you look at the instructions on the B, it can be an individual, it could be electric company, it could be a bank account, it could be food stamps, All of that, all those food stamps that were given to you, you get to get all that back times 10 now once you file your B. There will be no need for welfare after enough people get a hold of this instructions for this B. And after everyone does at least one for their mortgage. Does that make sense, Jane? So you get to do a B for that. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was just
Echo.
agreeing. Yeah.
And I'm in San Antonio, and I'm noticing some of the people that are getting a hold of me are, Texas. Sorry, I meant Texas. I'm in the San Antonio area, and there's a gaggle of us that I'm wanting to help me stand up the county, the county that I'm at, and we need at least 5 people to read the preamble outside the courthouse steps. So I'm kind of reaching out to anybody who's actually has a mailing address or has a residence in Bexar County. I'm reaching out to those who are interested in standing up the De jure Republic with me.
Well, I'm in Blanco County, but I can certainly, I'm just next door.
Oh, you are next door. Well, for every county that we stand up as free will living electors, once we read the preamble and that gets recorded with the county, we are notifying the corporation that that the de jure is now present. We're no longer sine die. We're no longer absent, and we're here to start to peaceably assemble and to work. By us 5 standing up the counties, okay, we only need 35 in Texas because that's the original amount of counties when it was first a state. So, sorry, I think it might be 45. Is between 35 and 45 is how many counties there were. Once we stand up Bexar County, every single resident in Bexar County has just become free from the corporation and Babylon as a whole. And it'll happen while they're making dinner at home. They don't even need to know it happened because most people don't even realize that we were stolen from the corporation in the first place.
And I was reading Institutes of American Law last night by John Bouvier, which I really recommend everybody read. It's in my TikTok link in my bio. I will put all those books in the vault as well, but it's all about equity, and notice it's called American law. It's not called Laws of the United States. It's about true, equitable, biblical law that the principles of this country were founded upon. And it talks about persons, all the different kinds of persons. It breaks down corporations, and it even talks about the difference between public and private corporations. And every single borough, it goes to explain, borough, city, state, they are all private corporations, and it explains why in that book. It is absolutely mind-blowing. And John Bouvier, if you guys don't know, this book is from 1856. This is the gentleman who wrote Bouvier's Law Dictionary. Yeah, and it is absolutely mind-boggling. Institutes of American Law, Equity Jurisprudence is another one by I think it's either Pomeroy or I'm blanking right now, but I will put them all in the vault. If you really want to learn about domicile and slave ship, and it even talks about how the instance of abortion back then, I'm not saying this is my opinion, I'm saying this is the law. It talks about how a woman who partook in an abortion, or anybody in with that, the sentence for them is a life sentence with an execution at the end. It's basically you live out all your life and you're executed in jail. Like the principles spoken of in this book are ass backwards as to what we believe the law is now. And what came to mind when I was reading about the persons and how all these corporations are actually, it says they are immortal and they are intellectual persons, a corporation. They are, it just goes so deep, and it's really eye-opening, and I would really encourage all of you to even just read the parts about persons and early on in the book, because it really explains what we're dealing with now. And it brought me back to the American state national movement and why you're giving allegiance to a state who, I know they say it's the Republic, but this book makes it very clearly, it spells it out very clearly that you just traded in one thing for the other of equivalent, just a franchise. We owe our allegiance to no one but our Creator. That's it. And it spells that out beautifully in that book. So I will put that in the vault. It's not a hard read. It is it's easy to understand. It's not like old English King James Bible, but it's absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, very cool. Equity is what the Bible is spelling out the entire time, what it's all about. It's about equity, estates, how to operate, the roles of a man and woman, of men and women. It's how to live a comfortable and natural life. So I'm not trying to offend anybody. If you guys do have different beliefs, I love everybody, which is why I continue to sit here and try to help everybody. But, going back to our roots and how we're supposed to live, I encourage you all to look at the principles of equity, even the 20 maxims. It's very eye-opening as to how far we've come from that, and it kind of starts to make sense as to why we're in this mess. So thank you for listening to my TED Talk. Let's see who we have next.
Thank you for that. And we are heading back to self-governance.
Right.
Okay. The first initiation to self-governance for Jane, as I hear her story of her years on this planet, we're going back to self-governance. Well, guess what? Who's going to be left to pay me but me?
And like all you guys are the change of that, the fact that you're even like on this path right now. I know it sounds corny, but like it's real, The only reason why they've gone this far is because we're not educated. We don't know the truth. And when we're starting to learn it, you can't unsee it. And that's a good thing, because you tell your family, they think you're crazy. But eventually, even with this ES thing, once people see the success of this and that this works, you signed a piece of paper, you flipped it over, you signed it, you put your freaking social security number on there, and now you just made $250,000 in credit. No one is going to disregard that, period. And that's enough proof, I think, for a lot of people to be like, okay, there's something to this, I know it sucks that it has to be like money that it takes for people to change their mind, because that's how we've all been conditioned to chase this pointless paper. But this is the beginning for you and for a lot of your friends and family. My parents, I've been telling them about this. I've been talking to them about this sort of stuff for 5-6 years, and it wasn't until recently where I've been sitting through and showing them my proofs that I've learned and what I'm justifying my basis is off. Like, they're excited to see this credit hit my transcript now, and they believe me. And my mom's asking me to do it for her, and they're 70 years old, So it's really cool to see, and I'm so happy that you're all here to be a part of that. And like Magic was talking before earlier when the call started, that the fact that we've all stuck together this long, I've been working at this sort of stuff with her group for the past year, and we're all still at it. We've all been working really hard, and I'm so glad to see that we have something this simple to help turn a new leaf in our frickin' life and never look back. Yeah, it makes me kind of emotional. It does, but it's amazing. And I thank you all for your patience. We're trying our best to make sure everybody has the base of understanding, but this comes back to also, you need to know what you're doing and why. And when you know that, you're not going to be asking as much questions. When it comes to people someone said, well, can I send a certified funds with my ESs? You don't need to send certified funds. That is the certified funds. You certified it with their signature on that ES. You endorsed it over to pay to the order of the Treasury, which the IRS tells you to do. You don't need to complicate this, my friends. It's very, very, very uncomfortably simple. Uncomfortably simple. Because you keep on questioning, nah, there's got to be something. There's got to be like 5 more things I got to do with this. There's no way 2 pieces of paper is going to put 250K on my transcript. There's no way. I don't need a Form 56. What do you mean? I don't need a 2848. What do you mean? I don't need 4 EINs. What do you mean? So just remember that. It is that simple.
Well
But
said.
I'm going to,
I love everything you just said. Just very well said. So simple to put it, and that is so great. And it is emotional because everybody's been working their asses off to try to figure some of this out, and we see light at the end of the tunnel thanks to you guys.
It's thanks to God, dude. I telling you, I journaled the 369 method where you put that you're thankful for what I put. I'm thankful for my abundance and wealth 3 times, 6 times, 9 times. I said, I'm thankful for my comfortable life or something along the lines of that. The Friday before I met Kim Marie. And I also prayed for the first time in years that God would give me guidance and comfort. And I instead of asking, actually, I was thanking him like as if it had already happened. And I came across her on Sunday, and here we are a week and a half later with almost 300 people in a group about to, have our lives freaking change. So yeah, it's
so funny to say that because I know a couple of other people had said the similar thing, and same thing with me. I was at the point where I just threw my hands up and I was like, you know what? I'm just like racking my brain here. Just please,
I've seen you. Yeah. I've seen you on TikTok. Yeah, we've all been every day gathering and talking, exchanging our ideas, what we've learned, and right. And it's been an awesome ride. Awesome ride. So yeah,
Divine
I do think
for sure.
100%.
So grateful.
As am I. I'm glad to see you here too, friend.
You too.
So
if it wasn't for you and all of your organization and everything like that, like seriously, we are all so indebted to you because you just are so calm, cool, collected, and organized, and you're so patient with everybody and so helpful, and you really do know your shit. And so it's a pleasure to know you, dude. For real.
You as well. No, I appreciate that. And no glory to me. Like literally everything just fell into place. Me and Kimberly have been talking about it every day. Like it's literally divine intervention. I'm not saying I'm like a godsend, but like God sent me,
But you are.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. But okay, that's enough for my spiel. It looks like we have some more questions. Where did I see that?
You know what it is, Marduk? And thanks for saying that, Tori. You know what it is? There's something much bigger going on here, and we're all getting access to the potential that we get to actually share news that could restore people's faith in humanity in general.
Oh my God, so true.
Right.
Yeah. It's reverent.
Exactly.
It's very sacred what's happening here. Because you can tell it's not about money. It's about credit, and it's about our golden pen, and it's about remembering who we are and whose we are. And when our nature is when we give. Look at what Jane just said, right? We just trust the universe will take care of us when we need it, because it's just the universe is so much bigger. God's so much bigger. Jesus is so much bigger than us, right? But now we get to be that giant. We get to turn into that giant now.
Because we can only see what's out in front of us. God can see everything. That's the whole game board, and that's what it is. And it's so just comforting to know that it will come when you truly believe. And I mean, that's what we all are here for. And we know that how great is it going to feel to be able to do amazing things for the people that we love. And if you could be really creative with just doing nice things, really big things for people, I think everybody would love to do that.
100%. No, I agree. We could actually do what we love, and that's no more sitting in a cubicle. I was in tech. I was a salesman for a cybersecurity company, and it was the most unfulfilling work I've ever done in my life. And I got fired, and I couldn't thank them anymore this past year because I've had time to focus on this. And if it weren't for that, I would still be broke 24/7, even though I'm making however many $1,000 a year. And yeah, this is just, it feels right. But I'm
That's
sorry. Thank
true.
you guys.
A lot of the other people in your life is going to say, oh my God, do you have a real job or whatever? And it's kind of like, well, you know what? If I had a 9 to 5 real slave job, I wouldn't have had all the time to be able to put my nose in the books like this and to be able to
Right.
really decipher all this stuff. So who has the time?
Right. No, I agree.
Can I share
But
a little story? This is
sure. And then
so good to be.
thank you, Clarence and Charlotte, for being patient. We'll get to your questions right after this. Okay.
Oh no, if you have people waiting to answer questions, you go right on ahead.
Are you sure?
Absolutely.
Okay, write down your story. We'll talk about it once we get these questions answered. I wanted to come on tonight to make sure, because I saw a lot of back and forth. We had a bunch of newbies come on, about 50 or 60 people, and I just want to make sure everybody has their questions answered and, not to overcomplicate this. I can't stress that enough. So, Clarence, thank you for waiting, brother. Did you have a question still?
Yes, I do, Marduk. I'm a newbie. This is my first time on your call, but
Welcome.
thank you. For the 1040V and the ES, I have a lot of like tax filings that I have done over the years, and I've spent like 25 years in the military and stuff.
Thank you for your service, brother.
Well, now that I know what it is for, I don't really take too kindly of thanking you for the service, because I know what it's about now, But that's a different story.
You
But I
went
want
in with honor and you didn't know that when you went in.
Yeah.
say again.
You went in with honor and you didn't know that when you went in.
Right.
You had good intentions.
That is correct, but through research. But I don't want to get on that topic, because that's another story. I want to stay on this topic with the questions.
Sure.
I have a lot of tax returns that I've did throughout the years and stuff like that. I wonder, using this process right here, because it sounds very simple compared to other processes.
It doesn't
Could I?
sound. It is. Yeah, it is. But
I haven't
continue.
done
Yeah.
it yet. I haven't done it yet, Marduk. But believe me, I'm gonna do it. I wonder if I can recoup all those credits from all those years of doing my taxes, using this process.
So Kim Marie touched on that a little bit earlier, and yes, you definitely could. Again, when you look at your transcript and there's a negative even at the bottom, where your withholdings usually is, that's a credit owed to you. The only reason they're taking out money is because you're claiming you had income, and then you're telling them how much they give us these brackets in tax where if you make this much money and this much, this is how much you owe, but they don't
Right.
tell you that it's a gift. And then when you go on your 1040 and sign under the penalty of perjury that, yes, I'm giving you this much out of my credits, they are then authorized to take that money or even hold you accountable if you don't pay them, because you just signed under the penalty of perjury an affidavit or certificate of title stating that you're going to pay them that much money. So when it comes to going back in time, I don't want you to focus on that quite yet. The main thing right now, brother, is you can go back in time for the past 3 years and do $250K for each year. So you can do 2023 amended, send in the ES payment for that year. 2022, send them ES payments for that year. And 2021, and send them ES payments for that year. Okay. They probably withheld how much from you total? 40, 50,000?
Well, I don't know exactly. I have to look at my tax returns, right? But I know I didn't file my last one, and I think that was in like 2021, 22, right? And I haven't filed since then, because I'm like, I ain't filing, because like you just said, it's a gift, right? They give us to gift them this our from our energy and our labor. And when you look up the word income is derived from something that we're not.
Capital gains, correct. Capital
Yes,
gains are profits. Hmm.
yes, and we don't have any. Most of us don't have any investments or anything. So, we're not doing anything. Like even when we have a job, when people don't realize, those are not capital gains, right? But they tell us that it's income, and it's like they have flipped it around on us, and they tell us, well, you're earning this amount of income from this job, but really it's not, because it's not any capital gains from any investments or 401ks, or you're not living off of those capital gains.
Right. And I want you guys to realize I'm sharing the screen right now. This is Title 26. It's our tax code. Okay. Gross income. They don't define just income anywhere in Title 26. They define gross income, though. What is gross income? It says, except as otherwise provided in this title, gross income means all income from whatever source derived. So that's just like me telling you, someone asking, what is a black bear? And then I tell them it's a bear. I didn't describe to you that it's a big furry animal that has claws or whatever. I just used the same word in the actual word and put it in the definition, which makes no sense. Okay. So they don't define income once, but when you go into Black's Law Dictionary, which I will have in the vault as well, I encourage all of you to utilize that, because it's the legalese words that are, their meanings have a very different meaning than regular dictionaries do. And these are what the definitions they're intending to be used when it comes to law. Income is defined as capital gains or profits from money. So if you used money to make money, income is the money you made off of using that initial investment, or the capital gains, okay? So that's what our brother is talking about. Like, I don't have income. You don't. You have compensation of just exchange. Just meaning a fair and equal exchange of your hours and your time for money. What does money represent? It don't represent gold anymore. It represents your promise to pay. Money is a representation of the United States government being able to meet their obligations. Okay, the obligations meaning securities. So the Treasury, the United States Treasury, sells or issues Treasury bonds, Treasury notes, Treasury bills. Okay, what are those bonds backed by? People say, well, our birth certificate. No, it's a representation, your birth certificate, of bondage to a constructive trust promise. Treasury bonds, notes, bills, etc. are backed by the people's promise to pay in the future. It's a debt obligation. Okay, so when you hear that we're exchanging debts for debts, yes, we are. There is no money of value. So what money represents is your time and your energy. Energy, meaning your labor, all that stuff, being able to fulfill the obligation at hand. They take those bonds, notes, whatever, and they sell them on the markets, but they also trade the Federal Reserve those bonds for Federal Reserve notes of equal value, okay? Quote unquote value. When they do that, that puts more Federal Reserve notes into circulation, just debt obligations, a promise to pay in the future, okay? So when it comes to, damn, I forgot where I was going with that point, but that's a little bit of what money represents. So when it comes to your income, you traded someone else's money or energy for your energy. Money and energy money represents your energy. So you traded your labor of equal value for somebody else's labor that's represented by a dollar bill for their value. That is an equal exchange. That is not a taxable event. When you work hours, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 365 days a year at your job, and they give you compensation for your trading your hours of your life, the only thing we actually have of value in this world, that is an equal exchange. You did not profit off of that business. You were compensated for your labor. So that was sort of a long explanation of what our brother's talking about. For those of you who are fresh to this information, we can go deeper into that once everybody gets, settled with their ESs. I love talking about stuff like this, but for now, brother, I'll go ahead.
I want to add to the brother's conversation too, and that was a very excellent and clear synopsis of the words we've been using, and we've been using the word labor for a long time. We've also been using the word credit for a long time, and neither one of those mean what we think they mean. Labor, consider, is fuel. If we don't eat, or if we're sick, can we perform? Nada. Are we a Merkabah? Are we eternal? Are we capable to perform? It's a performance. It's art. We've been calling it labor because that makes it convenient for the slave owners. The other word, credit, all of us have been defining credit. Something you get from somebody else and you give your signature for that credit. Most babies since the 60s were born into debt or bondage. The cost of having a baby in a hospital since the 60s, don't get me started. So what if credit is light and we are vessels of the Most High? And the use of the word fuel, which is what I need, I can't even get anything done unless I have my super coffee in the morning, which fuels me up. And then I have to have my super breakfast, or I can't get any of my paperwork done. And I don't know if you've ever noticed, but when you're working with a lot of light, you use a lot of brain power. Your brain actually needs more fuel, and in my case, more fat. The fat from the butter fuels my brain. So, labor, we have to actually look for, Marduk, which is so great. Let's look for what they're not using. What words are they not using? So when this B came out and the instructions, and it says fuel, someone said only farmers can get an exemption on that. They've got us so twisted away from what we actually are as a vessel of God that we're in 1D. Think about when you look at a piece of paper and you read it. That's 1D. We're not even in 3D. We're not even standing on the paper and trying to actually take in the knowledge of what's on the paper under our feet, which they did as soon as we landed. They put our footprints on a bonded piece of paper and weighed us and invested in us in case the parents get in a car accident on the way home and the baby survives. The state's got to take care of the baby. So think about it from that perspective. That's really important that you looked that up right now, Marduk. But I wanted to make it even simpler for everybody, since some people are doing the B process. Okay, so I wanted to get back to our gentleman and ask him. So if someone's going to be doing the B, let's say a B for your mortgage, that was $300,000 in proceeds. In the, I can't remember what was in the box. One of our gentlemen here was talking about it earlier, but there's 30,000 that we put in one of the boxes. There's proceeds that we put in one of the boxes. And then there's the barter amount, which is the 10 times the amount back. So what's becoming clear to me to help people keep this super simple is if someone hasn't paid themselves in the last 3 years and they'd like to pay themselves and they'd like to file a tax return, an amended tax return, feel free to go ahead and amend. And the basis for your amendment is the transcript where the credits of $250,000 are showing on your transcript now. Feel free to do that. That's super simple. It's A, B, C. 1, 2, 3. Super simple. If someone has a lien, someone has past tax debt, whatever, every single time I look at a denial of credit, like outside the hospital the other day on Sunday, I can't think about it in any other terms, Marduk, now than I just gave them my social. They just denied me very politely, but yet gave me a confirmation number of a denial. And now I get to 1099B that 10 times $2,500 for bartering and giving my private information to Care Credit, who gives people loans when their pets are in an emergency. So there is a disturbance in the force, Marduk.
That's Symphony Bank, isn't it? Care Credit. I got beef with them too.
Sure, it is. But I'm telling you, even if you've made your payments on time, you have to put the payments times 12, right? Each payment you made throughout that month, just add that up. That goes in your proceeds box. You guys, it's all on the instructions for the B. You times that 12 month amount times 10. And that's what we file with our living trust 1041. Do you know how easy that's made my life, ladies and gentlemen? Now I think of every time I give my social, it's gold. No matter if I get a denial or not. That's the gift that we've been given. And that's why they said don't gatekeep this, because people need to remember they are the gold backing the new issue. People think it's going to be this new note. What if it's a rainbow tax return? I've gotten 3, you guys. It is rainbow currency, and it is backed by gold, and it is exempt from levy. My signature created all of it. We're getting to remember who we are, whose we are, and what we are worth just by breathing on this planet.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So back to the kind sir.
So Clarence, when it comes to back taxes like that, there's more stuff you can worry about right now than that. And if you haven't filed, all you're doing is sending them just think of yourself as sending them a money order for $250K. And then you had no tax liability. So you're asking for it back. That's all we're doing.
I will certainly be getting into this like ASAP.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
That's all we're
I
doing.
won't take too much more time because I know there's another lady had a question. So
We're here to help, brother. Yeah, and put your questions in the chat. Me and Kim Marie are looking at the chat as much as we can, and there's a lot of other really proficient people in this group that can help with their input as well. But first things first, just pay them. You're not going to file a tax return yet.
Okay.
You're going to do that once it's on your transcript, and we can get to that, cross that bridge when we get to it.
Give Caesar what is due.
No, bro, you're Caesar right now. They're about to give you what's due. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
But yeah, we're here to help, so I appreciate your patience. But yeah, I'm going to get to, it looks like we have Charlotte Miller. Did you have a question?
Hi, yes. I know I had written it out earlier, but I hadn't gotten it answered, so I just thought I'd quickly add. Again, I'm a business. I just recently had my tax guy amend my business through the S corp, and they just probably would have gotten it yesterday for the amendment for the past 3 years. And I'm getting a refund from the past 3 years. He got it for me based on then putting me under the S corp. My question is now doing this is that going and then trying to amend again so soon? That's where I'm kind of like, you know. And of course, I
You're not you're not an S corp though.
Well, we just sent the paperwork in, and like I said, they probably received it yesterday.
Yeah, I know, but did you file 1040 for your Social Security person?
A Social Security person.
1040.
Well, we filed the 1040. You know, like I said, my husband works regular job. I'm a business owner. So, and I was an LLC. So now going from the LLC into an S corp is what the new tax guy did for me. And we just sent all the paperwork in prior to me learning about all this.
No,
Right,
that's all. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, an S corp, regardless if you're amending for that, first and foremost, you can amend 3 times in a year. It says it on the IRS's website.
Right.
Secondly, the S corp is you're filing business taxes. What a corporation does is it separates you. That's the point of a corporation. It separates you from the Social Security number, or it separates your business from your Social Security number, and
Personal
you have a whole new.
basically.
Correct, exactly.
Right.
So you're still going to be doing. All you're doing is going to be doing the 1040 for your. We call it a Social Security person because it is a Social Security person according to the law. And the law of persons, all of these entities created are considered a person, whether it be a trust, estate, a individual, whatever. They're all persons, so you got to think of them like that. So your S corp person is different than your Social Security person, which is different than you, the living woman. You know.
Okay.
So I wouldn't. So you didn't file a 1040 tax return then, correct?
Yes, we did.
You did it jointly with your husband?
Yes, we did. And then it showed that we owed $5,000. I was just like, I don't like this. And then prior to learning about all of this situation, I had went to another second opinion tax person. And then he's like, no, we need to put you in an S corp and let's go back 3 years and we'll recoup some of your taxes. And that's what he did. And we just submitted that.
That's perfect. He was showing you how to pay yourself using your business as your employer. Perfect. That was great advice.
Okay.
Now, who do you know in your life that could use $250,000 salary?
I have several.
Good. Go do this for them. You don't have to be the first one to get paid. Go do it for them.
Right. And that's what I've been trying to do. But I just had my question in regards to that.
Well, it's perfect. You got advice and he's helping you in a great way. And I mean, go help somebody who really needs it.
Right. And my employees, actually, I'm sharing this all with them. I'm so excited for them.
Oh my gosh. Bless your heart and your soul.
I mean, it's just like, I know if I show you guys this, you're probably not going to work for me, but at the same time,
But that's okay. You can recycle. Right? You can start training some of the new millennials to come in and do the work and just, recycle, baby girl. Let's get everybody out of Babylon.
I know, right? I mean, I'm all on this, but there was that little glitch. It's like, well, I just sent that stuff in. So I don't know. Is this going to interfere with it? So good. So it won't. Or amend it again, right on back to back. I mean,
way too many delays. That's why I said share this with someone close to you that has not amended, because amendeds take a while, you know.
Right.
So if you overnight the ESs in the ESs though, and you prepay the cookie jar for the amendment, see. You actually attach that transcript with a nice big highlight and a big heart. Thank you for your service. I can't see you, but I know you're putting my credits in my cookie jar. And you
Okay.
just attach that to the, because they say to add your 1099 or your late W-2 that came in. Just attach the basis for why you're amending. Bam! There goes the paper clip on your transcript with a nice big pink highlighter.
Right.
ES
Okay.
payments is the reason I'm filing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then one person, the same person filing their 1040, you can work with them, and you guys can actually, if they're excited about learning that little simple thing,
That's why I wasn't
while they're
sure if I
waiting
should
for.
tell him about this, and should he have even known about it? The tax guy.
No.
No.
CPAs, no, they don't really know about this, and here's why: because they don't know about military script unless they do. Do you know what military script is?
No.
Anything out of the Federal Reserve printed that has a corporation treasury signature on it. Okay. Pretty much all of our FRNs. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's called military script, meaning we've been in the Emergency Banking Act since 1933. And it's actually against the law for us to use that script because it's military. It's reserved for the military. Military meaning private corporations, like Marduk was pointing at.
Gotcha.
In fact, for a while, they even called themselves a private nonprofit because they're in the background of the ship. They're in the back hole with the purse and the ink pad, making money all day long, right? Promise to pay out of commissary. And if you think about it for a minute, who was in the business of burying the most dead people? If you think about it, since World War I, etc., in the United States world, think about it. Who was in the business? Who was dealing with the most amount of casualties at a time? What organization? Take a guess.
Military.
Thank you. Sad to say, but it's the truth. And I'm so sorry for that. These people had to go and tell those families. So there was an apparatus. And as the demand for war grew and 900 military bases got built all around the planet, so did the demand for more military script. Isn't that interesting how coincidental that is? We make more money when we're at war.
Yep.
Because all the death certificates, all the estates, and all the ammunition.
And all the bombs, yep. Mm-hmm.
America is not a country, it's a business. Now, if you have seen Pulp Fiction, America's not a country, it's a business. Now fucking pay me. Because my father and his father died for those fucking bankers. We have every right to not trade with the enemy. And turning that ES form on the back and writing on it is not trading with the enemy. You're actually creating credit instead of fucking debt.
Okay.
Do you get it? We're stopping the printers, ladies and gentlemen. What's the fastest way to demanifest something or have something die? You literally don't give it your time, attention, energy. And you even forget its name.
Do y'all see this? Title 28, Section 3002. The United States means a federal corporation, an agency, department, commission, board, or other entity of the United States, or an instrumentality of the United States. Do you know what you are? Or that birth certificate? It's an instrumentality of the United States. It's an agent for the agency.
And until we get our living trusts in at the Secretary of State and the Attorney General, we are actually a possession, occupied ship by the enemy with every greenback we have in our pocket. We are coming out of her, my people.
I do want to share this too, which this was a big eye opener for me a while ago, but the term United States, when used in a geographical sense, includes only the states and District of Columbia. Oh, but states is defined. The term state shall be construed to include the District of Columbia, where such construction is necessary to carry out the provisions of this title. This is our tax code, meaning all those taxes only deal with money made within the District of Columbia and its bounds. But with the whole Federal Zone Improvement Plan, or zip codes, they expanded the federal jurisdiction into an overlay of all the states, okay? And each state has that layover with the specific zip codes that you claim. And when you claim, you're saying, yes, I'm a part of that jurisdiction, the federal overlay of the California Republic, or the state of California. Any state of is the corporation when they're talking about that. So yes, everything's a business. Municipalities are a business. The county of, the state of, any ofs. Of means from or away from, the root word. So when that word is used, the United States of America, even, or just the United States, it's talking about something that was drawn from the original, okay? It's not talking about the same thing. So remember that when you're thinking about all this stuff. But I'm getting sidetracked here. I'm sorry, Charlotte. Was your question answered?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I guess I'll just go ahead and send it in. And then when following, I guess in 2024, obviously using the same guy, he'll see that how do you deal with that when you see the credits, or you see that, or is that kind of combined then for the next year?
All you tell him is I sent them a check because I thought I was going to have $250,000 of tax liability, sir. Can you get that back in my hands, please? It looks like I didn't know anything.
Yeah,
Okay.
you actually can do the 2024s right now.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to send the V in. You can just send in 2 times the amount on the ESs for the ESs. If you can't find a V until later on in the year, maybe January, those will open up. Then you can always send in copies stamped on your ESs that you already sent in, and you can just put half of it on the V if you want to draw down only half, because it'll, I don't know if that makes sense for everybody, but you kind of are the boss about it. You get to be the boss about it. So don't let the fact that there's no V for 2024 stop you from sending in ESs. Send them in anyway, even if there's not a V attached.
You can draw down the payment once that's available. Yeah.
Yeah, they will. Because before we knew to even attach the V's to it, we were sending the ESs by themselves. So I just want you all to know, we've just figured out how to play this properly, how to actually bring the power back to the people in their pens, how to re-inhabit the de jure, how to operate without trading with the enemy, and how to bring honor and respect back to our families and their names and all that they've sacrificed to build this country that turned into a shit show, and we're taking it back.
Cool. Okay. Thank you much. I hope you're recording this, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay,
hmm
good, because I would
It'll
love
be in
to
the vault.
listen back again. Right. Okay.
Yep.
Perfect.
No
Well, thank you
problem.
so much, you guys. I'm so excited every time I hear you guys are going to be on. So I spend my time listening. So thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it.
I appreciate it.
Of course. And Krista, it looks like you've been waiting patiently. Did you have your questions answered about the Canada thing, or?
Hello, everybody. I got my
Hi.
question about the Canada thing, but my second question hasn't been answered yet, if that's all right.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
And it might, the timing is great because it might fit in with something Key Marie just said. I'm in Indiana, and if I remember correctly, Key Marie said to go ahead and send in ES and Vs for the state as well if we pay state income tax. And we
Yeah.
do here in Indiana, but I wanted to ask about it because the Indiana ESs don't look anything like the federal ones. They don't have the separate sections that you can cut off and easily endorse on the back the same way. So I don't know how to do that for Indiana. And also, Indiana does not provide Vs for free online. You have to send in your first ES payment first before they will send you Vs. I
Okay.
don't know how that works.
So I just pulled it up. It looks like it's the ES40.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the instrument. This whole thing is the instrument. Okay. So if you look here, you still have your social.
Which is a money order. Just
Correct.
keeping it simple.
Okay.
Keeping it simple. Yep.
This
You're
is
just
the
ordering.
front.
You're ordering money, and what it's called is credit, because
Correct.
your hand with your authorization is directing the fiduciary to sell a piece of paper in the amount that you've just asked for in credit. Get it?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So, okay. Use this form to make an estimated tax payment. We suggest that first-time estimated income taxpayers make a copy of the blank form. In case the vouchers that are automatically issued after we receive your first payment don't get to you by the next payment's due date. Interesting. So, pay the amount.
Several of us have had them mailed to us from Cincinnati for sending our ESs back before we learned how to do it with the V attached. We realized that the V is the payment to that instrumentality. It's their payment to perform. So don't be surprised if you just send in the ESs and they just send you back their scannable vouchers. So isn't that awesome? You just read that. But nonetheless, keep going. Perfect.
So this is why I'm trying to build fishermen and women here, okay? Because I know we'll all have our own unique instances in our own states, but it's always in the instruction. They have to tell us. They have to. So if we're reading this is our estimated tax form, estimated payment tax form, and it's telling us right here, use the worksheet to determine how much you'll owe. The first installment payment is due by April 15, 2024. The remaining 3 payments are due by these dates. Use this form to make an estimated tax payment. It's telling you this will be your form to make the payment. We suggest that first-time estimated income taxpayers make a copy of the blank form. This is in case the vouchers that are automatically issued after we receive your first payment don't get to you by the next payment's due date. So it sounds like if you do this, okay, it sounds like she can send this in and write. Well, it's not telling her to put, well, actually, you already have your social. You already have your, because this is where the money comes from, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You got your name. Okay. You got the definite sum. Okay. Oh, here. Tax due from line J on the worksheet. Yeah, this is a little different. J represents your estimated tax due. Each installment payment due. So total estimated tax income. I guess you would write it here. The total exemption amount. I don't know, Kimberly. What do you think?
Yeah, it was confusing me, so I was like, I'm just going to wait and ask.
So this is your 1040, right? So here's this is an interesting little quinky dink because there's a reason why we've been gifted with the B instructions. And there's a couple things happening when you actually, become a living trust, right? And I want to say one more thing that I just got word about. There may be about 12 states that do not get the freedom to collect taxes or pay taxes because they've lost their right, title, or interest because they've been found wanting. They've been found to have conspired. They've been found to launder. They've been found to have trafficked. It's such an injured state that it may actually need to be under a protectorate for a time until the republics can be stood up in each of those counties. Regular, average, everyday people like me volunteering for a justice of the peace seat in my county because no one else is willing to do it. Regular people. They don't even want people who've held an office before. Yeah. So what we're dealing with here is high crimes and human rights abuses and fraud on a scale that you and I, even after looking behind the curtain, could never even fathom, you guys. We would not be able to sleep at night if we knew it all, right?
Right.
So think for a moment about your state agency maybe being taken. Maybe someone's going to occupy that for a time until it's de jure. That being said, only and if you have a liability and they send you a bill, and you have no, let's put it this way. We've filed 1040 federals only. Remember, federal means covenant. That's why we're having to take this country back into the covenant. Okay, we're all children of God, and we're all in the lineage, and we've all been promised, and we've all been working hard since 2017, and maybe even further back than that, to help save these children that have been used as a different kind of currency, right?
Yeah.
So we're getting provisions so we can stock up and make it through this little transition that's going to be a little uncomfortable for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. So you can just do federal.
Okay.
And unburden yourself. What did she say? Unburden yourself from things from the past that have burdened you.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
It may be a calm. No, it may be actually a calm. There may be some truth to it. No, literally. Okay. We
You
cannot
only
think
exist
about
in the context of everything which came before you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Sorry.
okay. So at the end of the day, because we're being guided by the Most High, right? All of us, our animals talk to us, our children talk to us. We know that we're able to, that there are angels on this planet giving us messages, right? So why not just do the federal for now?
Okay.
And the federal is, in my opinion, since we're under I call it partial martial law. Mm-hmm. They are technically liable the moment we deposit in a post office box or have the postmaster put it in their back room, wherever they, once you hand it, it's been deposited.
Mm-hmm.
And while we're under partial martial, the only thing that a military was ever designed to be a stand for was to protect the constituents, their communications, and their commerce during a time of war.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to feed the men? You know what I mean? Literally, our enemy has crawled under our sheets. We have domestic enemies all around us. We have people in our lives that don't even realize they're a walking zombie. We are at war.
Yeah.
So we get to use the mail, right? So the minute we use the mail, whether you're sending it to the state agency that might be closed and boarded up because it's been found wanting, that's called usury. Okay? Not enough for that caterpillar. He wants more, 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 more. He doesn't want to be a butterfly. He wants to consume, consume, consume. He wants to try and break nature's law. He doesn't realize that nature has it, that what you're consuming is to turn into silk. So one day you can wrap yourself up. Who's going to wrap you up if you don't wrap yourself in silk? And that's what I feel like we're doing right now, gently, to these out of control, bloated, bureaucratic systems of usury. We're just little fairies wrapping our little silk around them, unbeknownst to them, because we have the right to what? Protect ourselves. I don't want to get caterpillar goo all over me because of some big dummy who won't stop consuming, and it's not enough. It's not enough. I need more, more, more. He's trying to break natural law. So I'm just gently wrapping him up in my little silk bindings so I don't get goo all over me, and I make it, to heaven on earth. So just go ahead and do and this is my motto, and I'm glad that you brought this up, and I'll land it here. But my motto is this: my God is simple and my burden is light, right? So whenever I start even scanning a document like you just did, Marduk, you did a great job. You did like an open book test. Okay, let me take the knowledge that I have right now. Let me see how competent I am. Let me see if I can give my truth, if I can put my light into this debt collecting instrument. We're alchemizing every one of them and turning them into gold by our signature. So maybe, just maybe, we don't want to pay the state of Indiana. Just saying.
Yeah. And I do want to mention something, guys. Somebody already said, do Iowa or Ohio or something. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and go through every single state so you guys can figure this out. You have all the knowledge you need. Like California, I'm using my brain here. California has a tax return, 540. Okay, that's the name of our 540. So I'm going to show you how I go about figuring something out because I'm not a minor and I'm a competent adult that is handling my own affairs. Okay, like we're saying we are. We're not a minor. Okay, well, we need to think like competent adults. And I'm not saying this in a mean way. I'm saying this because you need to be this way if you're going to live this life. You can't keep following one person's answers and keep asking them questions because that's why we're here right now. I listened to my parents when they told me I had to file a 1040 when I was 18 during my first job. I didn't read those instructions. I didn't read what I was doing. I didn't go into the laws and see what I was doing and why I was doing it. I listened to them and I did it, even though I was an adult. So right here, California regular tax return is called 540, right? 540 tax form. Okay. California tax return, 540. So when we're looking at the ESs, our federal income tax is the 1040, right? And notice how the ES is 1040-ES. Well, it must be the same. California estimated tax payments, 540. Estimated tax payments. Look at that. Or I'm going to do this. Payment voucher. Instructions for Form 540 ES. Estimated tax for individuals. Okay, but where's the form? Download 2023 540 ES. Look at that. There's California's. Now, I saw somebody in the chat too stating, well, I wanted to get my state tax paid. So I just wrote pay to the order of the state and the United States on the back. No. Do not overcomplicate this. Follow the simple instructions for the federal. Do not add negotiable instruments. You're already including one, the voucher. Okay? Not just follow the simple instructions and unlearn everything you've learned. Okay?
Do you see what they said to make the check or money order to the franchise tax board?
Right. It tells you right here. They have to tell you. They have to tell you. So California, our revenue department, or our IRS of California, is called the Franchise Tax Board. I find that funny because the California Corporation is a franchise of the United States Corporation. It is. So what we're going to do from now on is read the instructions for ourselves.
I know, but Marduk, what I also want to add to this is, here's the thing. See, we've been given the B so we can start reporting. Even the Franchise Tax Board gets an audit now when you do a B. Marduk?
Correct.
Remember how much you paid when you filed your taxes? We have a duty to report that on a B, bro.
No, I understand that, but doesn't mean I can't send a $250,000 credit to them too and get that back.
You absolutely can, but I really want people to realize this is even more of a basis for our responsibility and our duty to get all these folks. Anyone who's dishonored your credit and your signature, anyone who's dishonored you in general and taken your home without lawful, well, it's commercial warfare. So in their world, they think that when you get behind on your payments, that's a lawful eviction. But I digress. Point being, any dishonor, Title 18 violation. Okay. The executive orders did you see that, Marduk? They just got re-upped again. That's for human rights abuses and fraud. Okay. Okay. People are going to start losing their shit. And I mean, literally losing their shit. Both ways. Their stuff's going to be taken and they're going to be shitting their pants. They're not going to be prepared for what's coming. Okay. So what am I saying that for? Because they're allowing us to get some liquidity so we can help the fight. There's no one coming to save us from these very scary people who have done very bad things. And now they're going after the local people, the police and the sheriffs and everything, because they have a bunch of evidence on them. They know their time is short. And the militias are practicing on the weekends at the shooting range right now. We have to protect our family for what's to come. And we just don't know what it looks like yet, but we do need to get provisions and everybody needs to get them fast. So do the federal. Why did I bring that up for you, Marduk? Because, I want everyone to remember, I only was asking if anyone knew about the ESs. I did not even think about the power of the B instructions coming our way. And we really have to really think about instead of me trying to help myself getting an ES, let's say right this minute, I have a big responsibility to get Care Credit audited for the loss that I may have had that day. Yep. You guys, they're all using our credit without our written consent, and they're not disclosing it to us. And I'll say it again. There's no statute of limitations on fraud. When they do not fully disclose that they're creating a separate account for you, buying an annuity in your name, whatever, it's fraud. There is not enough accountants and CID agents or administrators with a pure heart on this planet that can help us get all of our lost shit back. We have to do it for ourselves.
And like we said before, stop filing police reports and start reporting on tax reports,
That's right.
for the thefts. But Krista, yeah, try to focus on the federal. That's a weird one for your state. I'm not going to lie. A lot of the states don't have an income tax, so it's not going to be applicable to every state. You need to understand, how your state is structured, what there is.
Go ahead.
What's up, Krista?
I just said go ahead. I was telling my husband to be quiet because my mic's live.
Yes, dear.
Quiet, husband. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay. But yeah, I would just stick with the federal for now. And, if you need to get these pigs off your back, once you have that credit in hand, balance your account, actually make the payment until you can kind of sit through and 1099 BM or whatever,
That was my plan. As Key Marie was sharing, I was like, oh, well, in that case, I'll just pay whatever they want me to pay and then 1099 them after.
Right. And we'll go over this more, the Bs. I just really want to make sure everybody's on the same page with the ESs and the simplicity of it and what is being asked of them, So the Bs we will go into detail for. And this Claim Your Credits guide's in the vault under step 2. So you can download this and kind of get your living trust set up and everybody on notice, in the interim. You can start doing that.
We've been making really good progress on that. Our federal ESs and Vs were mailed on Saturday, and
Beautiful.
we got our trust documents notarized today, and we're working on through this pretty quickly.
Beautiful.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
I know I meant to send Christine my documents, Kim Marie. I talked to her, but I've been so busy playing catch up on here that I need to still do that, but I will. I got my hey brother, if you have a question, please put it in the chat. There's people waiting who have been waiting to ask a question, okay? Just
All
type
right,
question to put yourself in line.
I'm going to mute myself and sign off so you guys can move on.
No problem. Thank you.
Sister.
Just the
Which
welcome
chat?
chat, just put question in there and then I'll get to you, okay? There's a bunch of people waiting. Okay. So it looks like we have Christian, brother. How you doing?
Good, Marduk. How are you?
Good, man. Good. It looks like your question is about the B.
Yeah, I'm just curious about life insurance. If when we do that times 10, is that only when we first opened it, or is it like an annual basis?
All your payments and the amount that you are paying for the insurance of. So if it's $100,000 policy, that's an account. That's a bank account that you're paying into for your insurance, right? So what the policy is like the credit line that that you bartered to pay apportionment of. So the proceeds would be the amounts that you're paying times 12. And then the annuity, the life insurance annuity times 10. The
But
amount that you
wouldn't you add the
applied
times
for.
12? Wouldn't you do the times 12 plus the amount of the policy in the proceeds box? So you would do times 12 for your payments, and then wouldn't you add, say if it's $100,000 policy, you would add that to the times 12?
Thanks for giving that back to me. I just saw 2 separate Bs now. Okay. His payments for his annuity came out of his bank account, right?
Right.
So what you're going to do is the times 12, and the recipient is the bank account where they came out of. The bank used your credit to pay your annuity. That's a transaction in commerce. It's a debit, right? So I would do the payment for the annuity times 12, and then times 12, the payments times 10 rather, sorry. And that goes in the barter box for that one. And the recipient is your bank that has your bank statements that shows that amount. That's why she said, don't make up any numbers. Make sure that on your B, It's the exact amount of the electricity bill you paid for the year, right? So you're just doing an annuity bill for the year. Now, your bond, the amount that you're insuring your family and yourself for, that you're going to use the account number they gave you to open up your annuity account. That's a separate bank account, bro.
Right, because they initially pull your credit for the principal amount of the policy that you're insured for. Do they not?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, so it would be that, and then times 10 in the barter, and then
So
you would have
two
another
separate.
B. Right,
Yeah,
and then
the
another
other B is
B.
the life insurance company is the recipient. That's who
Right,
you bartered your signature for $100 million in insurance per year.
right.
You got two.
Got it.
Ring, ring, ring.
They don't like renew that every year, right? On the private side of things.
Do you sign a new contract every year?
No, I'm just curious if they just pull it every year as an insurance bond.
I would imagine they issue a bond for the total amount, and then that's there, and then you have your payments, which you're paying into a payment bond for that amount.
I want to
Which is
give you
there.
a little insight from Fidelity. Okay. When I checked on their claims department of what kind of insurance the brokerage house is insuring our funds for and our securities there and our investments, and I went through the whole process as if I was going to file a claim, and it's $5 million in it's a different word, SPIC, I think, for insurance instead of FDIC. And so it's a $5 million a year FDIC insurance, but it's SPIC insurance. So technically speaking, if FDIC is $1 million a year per bank account, an investment account's $5 million a year, they're insuring your investments and your brokerage and your losses for $5 million. I'm just saying, and you can go look at your own insurance firm, look up their terms and conditions for claims of loss. Okay. They'll tell you what the maximum threshold is. And if it's 5 million at Fidelity, which is where they're telling us to open up our living trust, by the way, 5 million divided by 4 is a particular number. Just saying. So, what we're actually doing is we're getting the bankers and the brokers and the traders and the collectors, we're getting them all audited. If their hands are clean, great. But what we're doing is we're calling back think of it as bonded, insured investors, and we're calling back our credits as if the stock market was going to crash, but what we've been investing in is a corporation which is going to crash. So think of us as securing up our vessels, reporting and getting paid like a whistleblower to be an informant. If that bank's hands are clean, no harm, no foul, you're getting an award for, it's called, what is it called, Marduk, on the 3949A? It's
the 211 is the award for.
No, I know. But information referral. Because you can turn in an information referral if you're concerned about being targeted. You can do it anonymously. It's called an information referral, which puts you in the roster to have them go and investigate. But what they do is they audit all the phone communications and commerce. What did I just say? It's protected under partial martial law. Communications and commerce. So they have these forensic auditors that are badass, and they're able to go and just see your paper trail. And they can see who's stolen from your credit side without your knowledge, even on your Numident report. They can see it on your, what is it called? Nexus Lexus report. Like, they all have been talking to each other behind the scenes this whole time. We weren't privy to all this knowledge because we're not brokers. We we're not wealth managers, and we're not attorneys that deal with dead people's estates and massive amounts of money. So we had to kind of figure this out on our own, and we're actually operating, in my opinion, with clean hands and pure intent. And then we just got given an opportunity. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to go ahead and just maybe 1099 your mortgage maybe the first time. Maybe just start off with something like that. But yeah, you can do your annuities. You can do all of it. All of it is banking and trust transactions that you have a right to claim on your 1041 when it's time for you to put your Bs in there. So yeah, do it. Do it. Just
You are
do
the
it.
grantor. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Beautiful, man. Fatima, it looks like, or is it Fatima? Fatima, question, anything I should do differently in the ESV process if I have a notice of intent to seize or levy against me? Is this at the federal level?
Hi.
Hi.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay. I think Kim Marie was sort of in the same boat when that's how she learned how to navigate when it comes to levies. Am I mistaken there?
Yeah, but let me go ahead and ask her real quick, Marduk. So, my lady, have you been in your portal recently to see if they've sent you any notices that you can accept with your big old golden pen?
I printed off my transcripts, but I was kind of confused at which ones to look at because it looks like you go back and forth with the wages and income, and then there's also a different transcript you can look at. Right now, my 23 taxes are pending. It's showing my transcript, but it's pending for us being accepted. So
Okay, perfect.
kinda-
So let me just refresh you if you go into your portal on the dashboard. You are able to download any notices or bills that they've sent to you, as long as the setting is set for you to receive electronic communications from them. You may be able to see if there may be an outstanding bill which may be causing that levy. If so, print it out, accept it, and attach it to your ESs and your Vs and send it into the ES department. That's the accounting department. If you got a bill that's causing a levy.
Yeah, so what happened was I was behind on filing my taxes for like 3 years, and so I'm all caught up, and like I said, I'm just waiting on them to set my 23s. But I just didn't know, since we were going over these processes, I was hearing you talk about the OID, so I didn't know if I needed to include something like that, or do I just proceed like everybody else is and make sure I do my ESs and Vs as well.
Yeah, so when the all caps person gets a charge, we can never go wrong by sending in an inquiry, a payment, or a offer. And I call the ES an offer, even though it's a directive and an order, but it's an offer. It's like a wager. It's negotiable because some people might have an outstanding liability. See, they have to close out the prior years before they can send you a 2023 return, right? They have to close it out. So I help them close it out by sending a payment, offer, directive, and whenever the payment says it's like, oh, I owe 10,000, I just make it for like 30,000, my ES, and I attach it to that bill, accept it and date it and send it in. So I use ESs to get the credit showing on my transcript when it has to do with my 1040 person, because it's my job as a trustee to pay the bills for it, right?
So what they did was they put me on like some type of hold, because what they're trying to do is to, I guess, take the lien off and have me do installment payments. So they said like they won't penalize me while I'm waiting on them to accept my 23 returns, but they also said I guess when this is all said and done, I'll have like an installment payments I'm supposed to start paying.
Okay. Are you in a position to contract with them on an installment so everything can get unlocked and start flowing?
I'm just kind of scared what the amount's gonna be because right now it's at like 7,000, I think is what they said I owe
Okay, well, have
so
you
far.
filled out? Okay, so what year is the bill, sis?
Like I said, my 23 is not processing, so it's still showing like as of right now, and I guess 22s.
Okay, it
I
might
do
be
want to
22.
throw in there too. My parents went through the same thing, and they actually allow you, if you are short on money, they do ask for your like income statements or bank statements, and then your what's it called? Your costs of living and necessities, and then you can
Bunch of
settle for
crap.
even
Just send in an
10.
ES for $250.
Right, but you can even, if you need to get some time under your belt, like she said, you can make the payments even $10 a month or whatever. You know, that's what my parents had to do. But I'm going to do the ESs for them. And actually, I just spoke with Kimmery, one of Kimmery's friends in Kimmery, and he lives in the same state as I do, and he owed quite a bit to the state tax board. And he sent in an ES for how much, Kimmery? I think it was like upwards of 800,000.
Yes,
And
sir.
he owed like 200,000. So now he's getting like a return of 600,000. But they're saying he has to file his taxes in order to get the return because the tax return returns the taxes to you. But he's in California, and that's proof to me it works. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do it for my parents as well. I'll keep you guys updated on that. But it works. They balanced his account, what he owed, and he's getting the excess that he paid.
I don't think that it's not that I couldn't afford to pay, but in my mind I was thinking, well, let me get caught up on my tax years and just start making a payment instead of just sending in my mind, a little bit at a time. So I don't really want to send them
Please.
bank statements because they'll basically say, well, you've been capable of
No,
making
no.
payments.
Just send the
No.
ES
Do
then.
the ES and the V. Absolutely.
What state are you in? Or
I'm in
this is federal,
Ohio.
you said. But you said this is for federal tax?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, just send in the the moment you send in the ES on your transcript, it's showing right now if you go on there that you owe, it's probably a positive number on your account balance, meaning you owe them that. When you send the ES and it applies, it'll deduct the amount that you owe them, and then it'll give the leftover as a credit owed to you. So it's just like you're
That's what
sending
I
them a
was thinking.
$250,000 check, you know?
Mhm.
And if there's no, what year is it for?
23. Okay, so this is for. It was dated July 29th, and it's just saying amount due immediately. And
But you don't know
this
from
amount
which tax
year,
period you became liable? Because
I
that's the
guess
year you're
it's
going to want to send an ES for, would she not, Kimmery, or does it not matter?
Yeah. I would go ahead and just do 2021, 2022.
it's for
You don't
21. It's showing tax year
There you go.
period 21.
perfect. Go ahead and just do the 2021 ESs and the 2022 ESs. And while you're at it, why don't you go ahead and just put the ESs for 2024 in there, and that should loosen up everything.
And then
And
those
so
payments are going to show applied to each of those tax years. So like 250 would, if you owe 20,000 or 25,000 or whatever in 2021 and you sent them 250, you would have a credit balance of 225 for that year. 2022, if you send them 250, you didn't owe them anything, it'll be $250,000 credit owed to you. Does that make sense? And then you'd have to file the tax return for your credit owed for each tax year that
and
they
it's
owe
okay to
you.
go ahead and still sit them all at the same time as well. Like I was saying,
All in
21,
one
22.
package.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes,
that's
And
what
then is it
ma'am.
Kimmery said.
weird?
And
Is it
don't
weird
forget
that
to
they have
mark on
not?
that.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I'm sorry.
Don't
No, I was
forget
just
to put
saying.
important. Oh, sorry. I'm
You
sorry.
guys both said go ahead and you stopped and you both started at the same
I'm
time.
sorry.
The syncing here is crazy. All
I
right.
want everyone to remember to put on the envelope, because you're putting a couple years in one envelope, and you can, but put important tax document enclosed, because one accountant is going to go to work on your account because you put V's in there. They're going to get paid to perform, right?
Mhm.
Important tax document enclosed. overnight it, green card receipt it, and that way you're good to go. Just I want to make sure I reminded everybody to put important tax document enclosed.
And where about on the envelope are we putting that?
Right above the address where you're sending it in to the ES address.
Write it in red too. Executive.
Did y'all also say that it needed to be in a certain color? Me and a friend were doing ours today, and we didn't know. We were going to go back on the videos. Did it have to be in blue ink, or it doesn't
any
matter?
color but black.
Any color but black?
Yeah,
I would
because you're
do
alive. You're
blue
alive.
because usually on tax forms it says black or blue ink only. So if you're going to do a different color, I would do blue, but that's just me. I don't know about, on tax form, maybe on the endorsement on the back, I don't know, but typically on the front of their forms, they usually say fill in with black or blue ink only.
Well, this is an envelope. Remember, I read the instructions.
She was talking about,
all mine
she's
have been
asking
read.
about the vouchers. No, she's asking about what color she should do the vouchers in. Yeah. But does that answer your question? Is it Fatima or Fatima?
It's Fatima.
All right.
And then lastly, I was just saying, is it weird that they have my transcript up for 23, but they haven't actually accepted them yet?
You will always have your transcript for 23 because that year passed already. And then like at the end of the tax year of 2024, even though you haven't reported anything, it'll just show up as 0. So I know a couple of the people who opted out of paying taxes via the revocation of election or whatever it may be, their transcripts, I believe, still show up. It's just all 0s on everything. So that's not weird. No.
And then what number should I be actually looking at on the transcripts? Like you guys talk about the negatives and things like that. Is there a lot of papers here? So
account balance, account transcript is the transcript you want to look at. And then it has the sign at the top that says any negative represents like a credit or something like that. Right below that, there's 3 lines, and the first one says account balance. It's going to show up there when you credit it. And then there's also an ES line, but I haven't seen that yet because I haven't ever submitted one. So I couldn't tell you right now, but just the account balance is what we're looking for. Once the account balance is a negative, that means they owe you.
okay.
Yeah, the ES payment shows on the tax return transcript. Tax return transcript.
Okay.
ES line. And you'll see that it says 0 because none of us have known to pay ourselves.
And we'll be here, Fatima. And first things first, I would just, if I were you, I would get those vouchers out. And then if there's any confusion and you don't know what's going on, we can go through the transcripts, once it's been a week or so after you sent them, because that's usually how long it takes to get on there. A week or 10 days. Yeah.
Okay. I appreciate y'all help. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Bless you, sister. Thank everybody for the hard work that you're doing. We're saving ourselves, and we're reporting while we're at it. So God bless everybody. We're doing what we can to save ourselves and save our country, and we're lending our beautiful energy to a good cause,
And I also, you guys, want to say thank you so much for, I know everybody's in a tough spot, but donating to Kimberly and even to myself, it's not necessary at all, but it is greatly appreciated. I'm a proponent of free information and helping my brothers and sisters, especially with the information like this, just help everybody get out of the situations they're in. And that really doesn't go unnoticed. It means the world to me and to Kimberly as well. You guys have helped her in a very, she's been in a pinch recently with all these people levying her accounts and doing all sorts of stuff. So, and myself, I haven't had a job in a good while and can't get one. So it really, all of those of you who are donated it, you guys are absolutely amazing. I will never ask anybody for money, but when that does happen, it really, really touches my heart. So I appreciate you all and love you all. Sounds like I'm ending the call, but I'm not. I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you. So from
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. It's been beautiful to see. I really appreciate it, every single one of you. And all of you helping and answering the questions in the chat. You are freaking lifesavers. I love you all. It is the most amazing thing to see us helping each other, and I want to continue that. If you're unsure of something and don't know 100%, when you're answering somebody's question, maybe refrain from it because that does cause confusion. But for those of you that are more proficient in this world, I really, really appreciate. Can't say enough how much I appreciate you guys helping out. It's been a fun ride the past week or so. But it looks like we have Denise. Thank you for waiting patiently an hour and a half. Did you still have a question that wasn't answered? Denise, are you here? Last call, Denise. Okay. If that comes back around, just message us in the chat. I'll try to get to you, okay? Looks like we have finance here. You asked if you should ask your question here on the call. You're more than welcome to ask your question right now. It's your turn if you'd like. I'm just having people who do want to speak, since there's no raise hand function in Telegram, just type the word question in the chat, and that way I can go in order, first come, first serve sort of deal. But did you have a question?
I did. I think it's kind of been answered, so I'll dial back around. I'll let someone else go for now. Thank you, though.
Of course, yeah. Is there a scenario where you would send the ES and the NE to a company or agency, or do they always go to the IRS? And that's for Kara. Are you still here?
Hi, I'm here.
Welcome to the group. Good. How are you?
Good, good. Yeah, so I have a friend with a child support deal that's just destroying her world. Her kids are adults.
Oh my God.
So I just wanted to ask that, we heard you say, I think in video number 1, something about get the bill, because she's already been levied, and like her bank account's garnished. Every refund goes to the child support. She can't travel, get a passport, nothing. So I guess the question is, can you send an ES and a V to the county for child support? Or does it always go to for credit to whatever that child support account number is?
Kimmery?
Because the state is being the trustee for the child, they're justifying, they're justifying their position by the parent being in the rears. Oh, I just get so mad. I'm so sorry. Hold on a second. The ESs that she's going to want to send in is for
I can help with this.
I want to say a part 2 though. So give me 1 second. It's important for her all caps person to get paid on an ES at the state level.
I mailed hers with mine yesterday. So we
Hallelujah.
did do
Okay.
an ES and a V. Yeah.
Okay. So perfect. So now what I need you to take is I just need you to gather the accounting from the court, all the paperwork from the court, and I want to refer you. Okay. So now I want to step over here to the B side for a minute. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why we're needing to start filing, she's needing to start filing as a living trust is because they're treating her and charging her as a dead entity. Okay? So once you get those court papers and all that accounting, and you're going to put that court on the B as the recipient of every levy, everything swiped, every charge, every whatever, okay? The recipient is actually going to be the court on the B. And you're going to get back 10 times the amount of everything that they garnished, everything, every tax return they took, every loss, times 10. Because that court case is its own account. Now, on the Form 56, if you all look at the second page, sorry, I think it's a 2848. I'm not sure. Marduk, I might need some help. It's page 2 of the 2848, I believe, where it shows court proceeding and court case number.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see.
Oh, I think that's on the 56.
The 56, I think that's what you're thinking of too.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Okay, great. All right, perfect. All the better. All the better. So the person being charged goes on top. The representative, the responsible party, is the court judge. You're making him the fiduciary. You're reporting the court on to get audited so that she can get 10 times the amount back of every loss. But on that Form 56, she's going to be telling the IRS, this court, this judge, this case number, which is an account number, okay, fiduciary duty, and it's for bank. What is the choice there on number 2? I believe it's bankruptcy for creditors, is what I think it says on the Form 56.
So it says court and administrative proceedings, the name of the court, date proceeding initiated, address, docket number, city or town, date, time, and place of other proceedings, and that's it.
No, but go up a little
under
bit.
Section A, there's court appointment of testate estate, court appointment of intestate estate, court appointment as guardian or conservator, or you can do other.
Isn't there one bankruptcy for creditors?
I think that's on the 56F. Hold on.
No, nope. All my vessels I did a Form 56 on, and I had to.
It's on the 56. You got to
Brother Ross.
Yeah,
What's
Yay,
up, my
Brother
man?
Ross. Yay. So
Greetings,
you're
everyone.
just, yes,
Hey, man.
greetings. Go ahead. Did you want to add something to that?
No, I was just letting him know to look under Part 2 authority. Look under, I think it's intrastate or something like that. You'll see it. It says bankruptcy and
Bankruptcy for
something
creditors.
for the credit. Yeah.
Let me see. I'm going to share screen. How about that? We could do it together.
Yeah.
Section A, look at F. Section A, authorities, subsection F.
There it
Bankruptcy or
is.
assignment for the
Bankruptcy
benefit.
or assignment for the benefit of creditors. There it is. Okay. Now, here's the important piece. Check and enter the date of appointment, taking office, or assignment or transfer of what? What's a credit? What's a credit if it's not an asset? And you're going to put the beginning date when the child support charges started coming at her.
She's gonna
Okay.
be crying when she hears the recording.
Great.
She also has to rescind the marriage license.
So the transfer of assets is actually going to be 2023. Okay. Because she's going to be filing a 1041 2023 that she's attaching that B to. So I'm sorry, I'm going a little fast. So right after the date of the assignment of the assets is going to be 12/31/2023. And then if you go down here a little bit lower into the court area again, Marduk. All right, and it's gonna ask you the beginning. Let's see, beginning. Yes, date proceeding initiated. This is going to be the moment that Child Protective Services that they're claiming that you deposed your property, which is your child, and you gave them authority to charge the estate, which is your all caps person.
Can't you even argue the fact that can't she make the stance of, oh well, like I heard somebody speaking that the way he brought it up in court is, well, sir, you're acting as fiduciary. Did you notify the IRS of your fiduciary appointment via 56? What?
It's Laura.
Hi, Laura.
Okay. Only because I did this myself. You get the original marriage certificate. You write rescind across the top of it, or across the whole thing of it. You're rescinding your marriage license. You have the right. It's 2 contracts. You're now rescinding it. The child support orders, you do the same thing. And now they have no jurisdiction.
Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, that's what brings the state into
right.
your
A
marriage.
license brings it in. So now
marriage licenses
are
3-party contract. Mm-hmm. You, your husband or wife, and the state.
If you want, please contact me. I'll give you my whole package that she can just follow and send it to the court of
Laura, you guys know each other, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
From the private banker tribe.
Boys for sure.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I will.
Yeah.
We'll reach out. Thank you. On that.
Bitter, right?
No, Kara.
Oh.
She's in the PB tribe.
Okay, but yeah, it's the rescindage of the marriage license contract.
Okay. So
okay,
back
Kara,
to my original inquiry. So I'm totally wrong to think you could send an ES and a V to a company or a state, right?
You are not wrong. You don't. Well, yes, you're not going to send it to the company. What we've spoken of in the past is we're trying to move away from this, though, because the Bs are much more effective, according to Kim Marie. But what before she came privy to the B knowledge, she was doing an ES for double the amount of the bill and sending it along with the bill to the IRS, I believe. Is that correct, Kim Marie?
Yeah, the IRS is the fiduciary for all of our vessels in commerce. Until we have our living trust, we have a covenant with them. So they are our debt collectors. They go and collect the debt, or they pay the debt on our directive. So my trust returns that I've gotten back is because I've sued the trust or the all caps vessel for back wages. Yeah.
So Kim Marie, so I kind of did that. I know you guys talked about TAS on a previous call, but I brought in 5 invoices, including my full mortgage, and I accepted it on the payoff letter and included an instrument made out to the Treasury and the V, and it's like disappeared into thin air. And I don't know whether those are credits that, I mean, we can't do a 1099B to the Treasury, right? But it's like these like instruments that just disappear.
The TAS office, well, nothing's lost, right? Nothing's lost. And you have a record of the payment that you paid to the United States Treasury, don't you?
I do, yes. They stamped it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the mortgage, since they dishonored your action, you get to now make the mortgage servicer as the recipient of that beautiful, fine script that you sent in to a intermediary. And you now get to put that on the B and get 10 times the amount back on your trust return. You have you just created a basis and a receipt. If you have a receipt, there's 10 ways to Sunday I'm going to get that cheese.
Okay, awesome. So
Make
basically 10
sense?
times my mortgage I just created by doing that.
Yes, you did. So nothing's ever lost. As long as you're creating receipts, you are wealthy beyond measure.
And even instruments that you might send into the treasury that disappear, not for a specific bill, but if they disappear, you have a receipt like your
You
return.
have a receipt. That's right. And whenever you go to the postmaster, whenever we put a claim at the post office because our articles got lost, my art, if my signature was on it, if my sign of nature was on it, did I not just create art?
Hell yeah.
It's an artifact.
So your receipt is the return, the green card, right?
Your receipt is anything you could make it on a napkin. Your receipt is wherever your signature is.
Okay.
Or your stamp or your seal or your mark, you know? Listen, even your children with all the art that's on your refrigerators right now, you can actually give each one of those articles a unique ID number and assess the value of that art that's on your fridge for your kids and teach them how to start paying themselves and not have to beg for money in the future for their art.
Beautiful.
Everything with your signature on it is gold.
You need to have that copywritten as well.
Does that answer your question, friend?
Signature is art, like you said. All art is copywritten by the author. So your signature should be copywritten as well.
Can she finish explaining that 56 though?
I'm sorry? Hold on. You guys, what's up?
I was wondering if Kimber could finish explaining that 56 about that child support. I'm just curious.
I didn't do a 56, no.
So, yeah, we can. Kara's going to go different than 56. I really kind of want to stay focused on questions that people have about what we are doing right now with the ESs and with the B maybe. We can go into that sort of stuff down the road, but for child support, like Laura said, and she had experience with it, you can rescind the marriage contract and the, what was the other piece of paper, Laura? The actual issuance of I'm blanking right now. I don't know. I don't have children.
The child support order.
There you go. But we can get into that more later. We've been on here for already a few hours. I want to make sure that I started today's call so we can answer a lot of people's like basic questions that are still confused and get into the other stuff a little more. And it looks like we still have a lot, so we can go into that later, brother.
Yeah, when we start paying ourselves, all of our problems go away.
Right. And Ray, I'm sorry for skipping you. There was 2 Rays having questions, and one of them didn't answer, so I must have I apologize for that. But did you have a question, my man? Ray?
Grande?
No, Ray.
Yeah,
You know what? I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. It's me, Ray. No big deal. You can go on. I'm good. Thank you.
Are you sure?
Yep. I appreciate it, man. Good looking out.
All right. If you change your mind, let me know, bro. All right. This is hard to sift through. Y'all are talking a lot in here. Diana Brown? Oh, you're just asking starting instructions for the ESMB.
Yeah,
Yes.
I just tried to ask it in the chat in case the call went on longer than I could.
Okay. No problem. Yeah, I would recommend that you go and look at the second meeting from Thursday in the vault. That has me doing a step-by-step of the ES and the V, but it's very simple. You just fill out the front like it asks you to, and the back you put the endorsement, which are screenshots of in the vault, and you send them in. It's very simple to the ES address.
I had a couple of other questions. One was if my husband and I both, if we file a joint 1040, should we each file the 62.5 per quarter as our own work?
Don't you have your own social?
Yeah.
I would.
All right, great.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And then can you guys shed some light? I've done the 903's process. I have my CAF number with the letter at the end. I'm still addressing some pushback I got on the 2848 to clarify that before I file my Bs. But is there a way to dovetail this process with the Bs? Is there an order to do it, or does it really matter?
So it's two separate things, since we're just paying ourselves for lost wages for the past 3 years on your Social Security person. The 1099B, you're utilizing a trust as a separate entity. So it doesn't really matter because you're going to be filing a 1041 for your Bs, which is a trust tax return. So no, yeah, it doesn't really matter, but we're encouraging everyone to, at least what I'm doing is I'm getting myself paid. I got to stop telling you guys what to do because that's where bad things, are held liable. But what I'm doing is I'm paying myself for 2023 flat out for my missed wages. I'm filing my trust paperwork currently, and then I'm going to, once I have that money to cushion, like as a cushion to get through the year and live and eat and everything, I'm going to be rounding up all my Bs for all my past contracts, and getting the return done there. But no, there's no particular order. However, the E is so easy. I'm doing that first, They
and
don't
you
go
said
hand in
earlier
hand.
not to worry about the X and just do the ES and the V and
For
not
now.
worry about the X at this point. Okay.
Just wait until you see it on your well, I'm waiting till I see it on my transcript. It makes me feel better. The X is an affidavit that you're signing under the penalty of perjury, and I don't want to claim something on there that doesn't exist yet.
Got it. Okay,
So
that
that's
makes
just
sense.
my take on it, and
Well,
it feels a lot safer.
Let me correct you for a second. The moment your ESs go in the depository at the post office, that's a contract, and that is actually in reality a security that you just deposited. Just saying.
No, I understand. It's just that's why I said my feeling. This is how I feel. This is how my brain makes sense of it, and it makes me feel better to look at a transcript where it says I'm owed $250K and then ask for it back. Once it's in their system and by their words telling me I have a credit for that, it makes me feel better personally. But yeah, some people will decide to put them all in one packet together, and send it to the ES address. Some people will send it off online at the same time that they send in their ESs and Vs, and they'll do their amended online. It really just depends on how you want to go about it and what's comfortable for you.
So the ES and the V can go together, but wait on the X, basically?
That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
But you can try to send them all together if you'd like.
Yeah, if you're amending, and the amendment, they ask for the basis for why you're amending. And if you put in the basis, they ask you to attach the W-2s, the 1099s, whatever it is that's causing you to file an amended. So if you're amending, I've seen no problem with attaching your 1099X with your new ES payments filled in on that line.
And you guys were saying it's best to do it certified mail return receipt, which I get.
I overnighted mine. I didn't do
Yeah,
certified mail.
I recommend overnighting it to the ES address. You can do a green card receipt on with that. Pay an extra $3.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so
exactly what I did.
overnight
I
with
did
green card.
overnight
Okay.
with a return receipt, both
Or
digital
they,
and
yeah.
paper.
If you have a
And
firm book, you can put your tracking number, no matter what way you type, what way you send it.
Mhm.
You put it in the firm book. That's like your second signature from the post office. It's better than getting a green card back, in my opinion. But because we're not really contracting with the accounting office where the ESs go. We're already in a covenant. So the green card receipts, when I do those, it's more for when I'm having to handle a matter that may take 2 or 3 processes, or I'm trying to deal with a lien or a garnish or child support, whatever, I'm dealing with more of a legal matter for someone. That's when I require a signature from that party. So when I'm doing my trust ESs, I always require a green card receipt stamped on the other side, because that's by agreement. See, I have a duty to recover any and all proceeds or assets or credits that belong to the trust that technically belong to the Benny. So I'm the middleman, just like the IRS is the middleman, but more like a fiduciary, one that has the authority to do the accounting on your private estate or your private matter or your private, we're already in a contract with them. But when I'm acting on behalf of a trust, now that's once removed from me. When you're doing 1040s, it's like you're sending your new payroll check to your dad who's sitting at the office and running the estate for you. We have a big dad running the estate, right? And we say to our dad, I need a raise and I'd like to live off of this much next year. And we're covenant with the father. So there's different reasons why one would need a green card receipt back. So if you want it to get there sooner, I would do overnight tracking. Your tracking number, you're able to actually
USPS
track
has
the package.
So we can do overnight with USPS with the green card.
Yeah.
And send hard copy. Okay.
Yeah. If it's a 1040 though, the green card, it's optional.
Okay.
Yep.
And then I have another question that's sort of not exactly along this line, but I'm seeing it come up in the chat and I have the same question. So I'm going to throw it out there. I've been doing the Bank of New York Mellon process, and I put the zeros before my social for the account number, and I selected that it was a checking account, and a couple of them have bounced back so far, and I'm wondering if I should resubmit them either as a savings account or without the zeros or both. And I just didn't know what you guys had been hearing about that.
Go ahead.
I want you to tell me what you saw with your eyes that you're calling a bounce back.
I submitted starting Wednesday night. I conservatively sent in a couple of payments across a variety of different. I sent like a cable bill and a credit card, and I did just a couple small bills to see what would happen. And now that we're at Tuesday, 2 of them were declined, or I can't remember the language they used, but they sent them back saying you needed a payment method, and I the routing number, and that was not a problem. It was the account.
Did you take a screenshot? What does it look like? Did it say posted and you got an acknowledgement number the day you paid it?
Oh yes, they all posted and processed.
Okay. Stay with me. Stay with me. 3 days later, what are you seeing on your documentation? What are you seeing? Is there a number there with a negative sign saying returned, or is it a dishonor?
I got 2 emails regarding 2 of the payments, and all the language said was the payment was either returned by the account or declined by the account, and that payment method was removed. And so what I don't know is whether I should select savings account, because I ignorantly chose checking.
Hold on. When you did it, you told me you got a screenshot and there was an acknowledgement confirmation number, correct? Or letters?
I wrote them all down, yes.
That's your receipt.
I do want to preface, guys.
Wait. You may report it on a B now.
Okay.
Your social was run. They posted it. You got a confirmation number. It's a receipt.
Right.
It's a loss of credit and it goes on a B. That's what I would do.
Okay.
That's what I am doing, I should say. I'll say it like Marduk says it.
So I should list the creditor that processed it and the confirmation number as the account number?
Correct. But remember in the instructions what they say to put in the description box for funds excess. The proceeds is the amount that they charged and ran, and then times 10 that amount on the B.
Okay.
I do want to warn you guys. I'm not doing that whole thing, and I have in the past, but with the Federal Reserve Bank, and my credit card got shut down, even though the payment processed and went through, and they reversed it. They shut my card down. So I do want to make people aware when you're doing these sorts of processes, there could be repercussions in that sense. And if this is a card that you need. If this is a card that hold on, if this is a card or something that you need and you don't want shut down for unauthorized use, I would recommend that you try to find other ways to go about it. I'm not comfortable with this. I'm not. Kimmery is, but I'm not. And I go with clean hands and pure hearts, and it doesn't feel clean hands, pure hearts to me personally. So I don't want this to be, right now we're focusing on how to get people remedy and comfortable in a safe, effective manner where we're literally paying with a check with our name and our social on it.
I just want to say the basis for it is bankruptcy and salvage law. And we can go over that at a different time. I just wanted to give her my understanding that we are in bankruptcy and New York Mellon is the indentured trustee bank that's connected. The Federal Reserves are no longer connected to our social, ladies and gentlemen. We are officially in bankruptcy.
So, Kimmery, do you recommend then I try to reprocess the payment either without the zeros or calling it a savings account?
All that testing and trying is up to you. But what we have a duty to do is it's just going to create more administrative work for you. What we have a duty to do is report every denial.
And that's my
of an
point.
application.
We can't recommend these sorts of things to you guys. We cannot.
I understand.
That liability coming back on 2 people, and I want to make it clear. I know, but I want to make it clear. I do not recommend that. Okay.
And I see a lot of comments in the chat, which is the only reason I threw it back in there because I was asking more about the process. But I have I've had a couple bounce back, and I've seen some stuff in the chat about whether reapplying it as a savings versus checking account or leaving the zeros off. And again, I know it's just sort of a trial and error thing. And I'm not hanging my hat on it, but I just wanted to know how to navigate if payments start getting pushed back, if I should keep them in that administrative loop and try again with a different approach. And I just did
whatever you want to do is up to you. But when it comes to things like this, my utmost concern is the safety of you guys. And I would never recommend something that I wasn't 100% sure about. Kim Marie knows more about bankruptcy and those laws, so I understand her justifying these sorts of things. I don't know much about it. I do know a lot about negotiable instruments and your credit and your social, and that's what we're talking about. So,
Well,
and I
then,
do know about
so,
reporting forms and B's and C's and A's. So that's what we're going to talk about. But when it comes to,
thank you. I understand. So to that point, I see something in the chat about an endorsement of the V's and the ES or something along those lines. Can you expand on that?
what about the what about, I'll get to that question once we get there, but what about that? Would you like me to
Well,
expand on?
I'm just seeing the 1040 ES and the 1040 V and talking about writing on the back or endorsing before we mail, and I just wasn't clear on that.
Have you watched the videos that we did? Can you mute Blue Horse, please? You're echoing. Have you watched the videos, the 9-hour video that we did on last Monday?
I wasn't sure. I've heard a video on Monday and a video on Thursday at the 4-hour and 40-minute mark. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, just check
And
that
which
out.
one is it?
It's
The Monday?
it's the YouTube video from Monday. Yeah, the only YouTube one. Check
Okay,
that
YouTube
out,
video.
and we
Okay.
go over all that stuff. If you still have
Great.
questions, we can come back to that. And then there's also examples of the endorsements that I used in the vault. So are you part of the vault?
Wonderful. No, that's perfect. That's perfect. I've got a long road trip ahead of me tomorrow, and I thought that's a perfect opportunity to listen to it and take my notes. So I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, no problem.
And I appreciate I appreciate your caution, by the way, that you're trying to be careful and protect everybody, and I get that. So thanks for letting me ask my questions, and appreciate you guys very much.
Of course, and I don't mean to sound like a jerk. I really don't.
No,
I just
no, we love you, Marduk.
No,
Not
I
at all.
just I shut down the group for a reason, because once there's 500-600 people, it does not become safe. And then
Understood.
like when there's other stuff, like this, like testing new processes, I would rather a couple people try it out and like Kim Marie's been doing this for years, dude, where she has a small group of like 20 or 30 of them, and the way they figured this out is they tried it, not the Bank of New York Mellon thing, but the ES. And once she got a success 3 or 4 times, and then the rest of the group did, that's when she decided to go public, just a week or two ago. So when it comes to these newer things, even though it's not very new, even the Bank of New York Mellon thing's been around and it keeps resurfacing. I don't feel comfortable, sharing that, my opinion, but feel free to talk to others about it. I just want people to know this group is about, stuff to, that we can do with ourselves and with our social and with our credit. And when it comes to those other processes, like, sure, if a couple of you try them, whatever, but I would rather us be sharing stuff that is known and tested and true and, clean hands type things. But this is, yeah, I don't know. I don't mean to sound like a jerk. I really do care about you all, so I don't.
In honor, I think staying in honor, you'll never regret it. And I think that's the way to do it. That's why I was asking for clarification around it, just because I saw some stuff in the chat. So I really do appreciate it, you guys.
No worries at all.
And Marduk, that's why I wanted to speak up. I wanted to speak up because if you have 1 or 2 people in the group charting, by a week from now, we'll have everyone talking about this new process. So I'm glad you cut that short.
Right. No. And, yeah, if you guys want to I'm just going to stop there, but you all know how I feel. So if something like that goes wrong, I really don't want you guys coming back and blaming Kim Marie or I've done it with the Bank of New York or with the Federal Reserve Bank about a couple years ago, and my credit card got shut down, and they reversed the payment, and then I owed them money plus interest plus penalty fees. My buddy Steven did this Bank of New York thing last week on a couple of his cards with his wife, and they penalized his payments times 3. They reversed the payments, and now he owes triple the amount. It's just, I just, when it comes to these negotiable instruments or with the vouchers, it's so simple, and you're justified in what you're doing according to the law. So that's why I feel comfortable talking about that with you guys, and sharing that information. But when these other things, like, y'all make your own decisions at the end of the day. We're all adults here, so. But I appreciate you bringing that up.
Josh, the only thing I wanted to add really quick before I go is I noticed after I processed some of the payments, the accounts I paid against, I got an alert from Credit Karma, so I logged on just to see what was going on. And those accounts removed themselves from my credit report, and then they re-added themselves with the date of inception for the account, but without any of the balance or negative comments. And it made me wonder that exercise, like they're recognizing, I think, something about the legitimacy of the account, but I can't quite figure out why that all happened. But it was kind of definitely a fluke in the reporting. So if I can piece more together, I'll report back to the group in case it's helpful. But
what you can do, and what I did is when they return the payment, the credit card company or whatever company it is receives an ACH code for the denial or why the payment was reversed. They get a code. And when I asked what that code was, they gave it to me. It was like RA8 or some weird code like that. And you can look it up and what it means. And when I looked mine up, it said authorization or lack of authorization, meaning the account existed. I did my social security number as the account number, and I did the Federal Reserve Bank corresponding with the letter on the back of my social, their public routing number as the routing number, and it posted, and it went through, and the return code was lack of authorization, meaning I wasn't authorized. That account existed. There wasn't insufficient funds, none of that. I just wasn't authorized to do it because I'm in a minor status or I don't own it. I don't know. But you can do that and ask them, what was the return code? What code did you guys get? Look it up and you can get more information about that.
I appreciate that very much. And I'll report back in case it helps the group.
Sure, please do.
You're not in a minor status. The name is a minor.
Correct. That's correct. I agree. Yes, thank you for that.
You need to be the custodian.
Yes, no, for sure.
You are
I understand.
not the custodian right now. So
Right.
look it up. I just discovered that today.
No, 100% correct. The account is, and McKimmery, kind of painted this better picture. You are agent for the Social Security person. You could think of that Social Security card as a disabled minor because that card doesn't have any legs, any arms, and can't talk. Okay? It is that person who you are agent for. So that capital name is that person. So that kind of gives you a better visual of what they're doing here. Like it's really like a incompetent, disabled minor, that person. Can your Social Security card talk and handle its own affairs? No, you do it for it. So yes, thank you, Wild Horse.
And I will tell you that I've corrected my status just barely ahead of this Mellon process. So I'm very curious to see how many, I don't know how many will come back, but I'll let you guys know. I'll just keep kind of checking it out.
Sure. Thank you. NH321, thank you for waiting patiently. How you doing, girl?
Hi there, I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. What's going on?
Okay. I have been tuning in and listening to this process, ever since Labor Day. And but I've had in the back of my head that it really doesn't maybe fit my situation. So I thought I would just run it by y'all and see what you thought. So I am in the middle of towards nearing the end of the 1099B process. I've been at that for a good while. And
Awesome.
So I do have that going on. But for the B and ES process, so my husband and I, we've always filed jointly. And, he's still in the matrix. He's not, doing anything like this. And so I was trying to just keep him separate and away from anything that I'm doing. And so, we'd made the decision, like from here on out, like I would start filing on my own by myself. But
yeah,
so I didn't know about, like I said, I've just been listening. I haven't been real hands-on with this, but, doing an amendment, with this process, or should I just focus on like 2024, and doing that for me, especially since I'm already doing the B's and stuff for me over the past 3 years? Or Any
We
advice?
talked about this actually, yeah. And if you filed jointly last year,
Mhm.
then you have to amend jointly.
Yeah.
Under
So
the
that's what
yeah.
I was. Okay. So that's why I was
So
just kind of.
go ahead. Well,
Well,
like with the amendment, you're basically changing numbers or totals, and that's it. I don't think you can amend to file again jointly, or to file again separately if you were jointly. So, but what you can do, since you have your own social, is you can just write the instrument in just your name, I believe, right, Kim Marie? Is that what we talked about? With just her social?
No, I haven't talked about that yet, but I'm wanting to get to the for some reason we keep going back to this, the 1099Bs, for her to become a living trust in her own right as her own sovereign being.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I've completed that. I've got the trust account and everything done. So
She was just wondering, since they filed, I don't know if you heard the beginning, but she filed jointly with her husband last year, and he doesn't do this kind of stuff. Like, he wants to stay in the matrix, quote unquote, like she said.
That's the 1040s, though. I'm saying she would be filing a 1041 as the trustee for her living trust, which is her social, and her social can be the Benny in her living trust on the 1041.
okay, so I can do the ES and B process, but just do the 1041.
She's talking about doing the vouchers, the ES and the V, since her and her husband filed jointly last year.
And I don't think if she was going to do it separate from her husband, she should focus on the B's and her own social credit and her own things that she's been signing as an independent sovereign woman from the marriage.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I was doing, right? For now, just because I didn't,
You have a phone bill. You have a phone bill you pay, right? You have, groceries you buy. You have clothes you buy for yourself. All that stuff can be 1099B'd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've already got all that together. So yeah, I was already moving in that direction. But
I think to honor him, you want to keep him separate from all this, and it needs to be a choice between both of you advancing yourselves forward in that manner. I think this is also, Marduk, maybe why this B has come along, so that people can actually stand in their own sovereignty, regardless of whether their partner is on board or their partner's gone all the time and working all the time. I think it's something to it's something to really consider. This is why the B's been brought for us, because each one of us has a free will to make ourselves a living trust.
Right. And I will say this, like whenever, I went through that whole process and I spent a ton of time on that trust, like going through every single word. Like I practically have the whole thing memorized. I wanted, to perfect it and be exactly the way that I wanted it. And, so anyway, going through that process and then the finale of going and opening that trust account, I told Belsey, who's on here, I was like, I walked out of that bank and this feeling just came over me that, I literally in my head, I was like, I feel like an adult, and I've been an adult for a long time, but, it's like you finally just feel like you're alive and that you are truly your own person. It was a feeling I just didn't expect, and so yeah.
Well, that's an awesome testimony for people to go through their trust like you did and really take the ownership of it and the feeling that you get once you've accomplished it. I'm so glad you shared that testimony with us.
Yeah, I really, like I said, it was just that overwhelming, it was like a spiritual feeling, like, we all keep talking about, but I literally just sat there in the car and I was like, I just had this strangest feeling that I finally felt like I was adult, which sounds weird, but I think y'all get it. Nobody else would.
You're the boss. You're the boss of you. Yeah. And your entities.
Okay, so just move forward with the Bs and just stick to that for now would be, which I would think might be my best path.
Yeah, it sounds like that's what Kim Marie would do in your situation, but
Okay.
yeah, I guess so.
All right. Thank you for the advice.
Yeah, of course, guys. Okay. Who do we have? Grand Day, it looks like you had a question, brother?
Marduk, I think I was before NH5321. It's DD.
Oh, sorry, there's so many people chatting. I don't see you. No, I'm at like 7:00 right now.
Oh my
Chat.
gosh.
Yeah, so there's just so many people chatting. It can't. But I believe Grand Day was next. Are you?
Oh, sorry.
No, you're
Hi.
good.
Hey, well,
What's up, brother?
hey, hello, fam. Kim, Marduk. Quick
How's it going,
question.
man?
Good. Have you guys considered the consumer price index? Because I did 250,000 for the year 2021 because I haven't filed for 3 years, and I came up with $456,778 off of the 250,000 that I was supposed to get way back when. So just an FYI for you folks.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, we did talk about this actually, right? With the calculator with Ross.
Yeah.
He brought it up. Yeah. Were you part of that conversation, Kim Marie?
I don't think so.
So, okay, you know how our dollar is devaluing?
Yeah.
So your dollar was worth more a few years ago, and I'll show you actually. Look. So Ross was mentioning how later, here, let me show you. There's one on the government website. It's bls.gov, and they have a calculator, the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So say you're doing a B for 2020, right? And it was $1,000 for your deposit in January of 2020. But you want to see how much this is worth now. It's actually $1,800 worth of buying power now. So you would do the $1,000 deposit right now on your B for that much. Does that make sense? Oh, that's for 2000. That's for 2000 here. Like 2020. So because of inflation, $1,000 back then is actually $1,219 right now. So Ross is talking about how he would take that into account when he's reporting these transactions because the dollar is worth less than it was back then. And the money back then, you know what I mean?
Go for it. Yeah, go for it. Awesome. Whatever your basis is your receipt. See, you're just sharing with us how he created the basis for his receipt and his call down and the basis for what he feels that what's going to make him whole. And everybody's at so many different places, right? So awesome. Great work. I think really great work.
I have one last question for you, Kim. So since I'm doing 3 years, is there an additional document that's enclosed within the same envelope to move the credits to 2024?
You would just pay it forward on the 1040. Yeah, you would put credit to 2024 account or whatever. I forgot which line it is, but you can move forward the credits.
I actually answered you directly when you asked that question, Grande. It's line 36 on the 1040.
It's okay. You can ask it for everybody to learn, it helps. So it's okay.
No, I was just letting you know, so we're not tying up asking redundant questions. It was answered directly to you. Other people in this channel do have knowledge that can help.
I understood. I just wasn't familiar with you. I do appreciate all of you.
All right, brother. Does that answer your questions?
That is it, my friends. Have a good night.
All right. You as well. Didi, I don't see your question. Where did you ask your question?
Well, I think you were talking about 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it would have been
Oh,
it would have been. I'm on the East Coast. I'm on the
I
East side.
forget. Not everybody's in my world.
Standard.
Yeah.
I'm on the Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
So
Well,
we did
go
skip
ahead.
me.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I didn't see a question from you, just a statement, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I had to edit it and say question, comment. Well,
I'm so sorry.
No problem. I just wanted to thank you and Kim Marie because I did get the ES and Vs out with a friend that was familiar with restrictive endorsements. So we did it together, and it takes a lot of energy. Like, it just seems like it's energetically kind of challenging to do something like this. Unless I feel like I'm being the change and making a difference for someone else. So we both got our documents out 2021, 2022, 2023, and we did 2024. So we sent that out with the V that's in the files. And I did want to just comment on the tax per queue. And Sean, I want to thank you for offering that information. But I did actually talk with someone in the state. I've only been in my state for 2 years, and she said she's familiar with doing tax per queue, but she would not do it. So I think we really have to discern where we live and whether that's something you want to do without taking some other steps before you start sending free mail through the system. And so I just want to caution people with using discernment and making sure you know what preliminary steps to take before you start sending tax per queue free mail through the system. And that's it. Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you for sharing, Dee Dee, about the energy that this process does. We are definitely alchemy in real time. It is energetic. It is spiritual. It is so many things that you really can't describe until you've done it yourself. And then, like you and the other lady was saying, I just can't explain the feeling, but I'm standing taller. I'm really processing, I think, what I came here to process. Thanks for sharing that. It's really awesome that you felt that.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Beautiful. Jovan, I think I saw somewhere that you got your question answered. Did you have any questions? Jovan?
Hey there, Marduk. How you guys doing?
Doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Well, good. Thank you. I'm glad that you all are doing well. I was just trying to figure out what get the repeat on, or the clarification on where to put the important tax document, enclosed on the envelope. Because I had wrote my envelope out, and what I did was I put it at the very bottom on the corner. But I wanted to make sure that if I do it over again.
No, just as long as it's visible, because they're going to be tossing all those envelopes in different piles, and you want yours to go in the priority pile.
Yeah. Yes. So I really appreciate that. I've been listening and I've been super encouraged, and I thought about what you told me the other night. And I know someone else has had the question about the disability, or being on disability. I thought about it and I said to myself, and this is just personal, to me, I said, well, I'm actually gaining more than I'm getting now. So if that was the case, if they take it, then they just take it, I'm being restricted with those payments, and I know a lot of us are. And so, I figured out a really comfortable number. You gave me one, and I'm going to be in agreement with that. And so I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And then I also said that once I do mine, I'm going to pop right in and make sure that my daughter does it for herself. She's worked very hard, things like that. So all my adult children are going to be doing this. I'm going to teach them how to do it. So I want to be confident in what I show them, so that every one of them can do it. And then they will have a nice, hopefully we'll have a nice Christmas, because it should be here by then. So that's what I'm going to do.
Beautiful.
And if there's any other advice you all can give me, that would be great.
I think it's a beautiful gift to teach them how to learn how to utilize their credits.
All right. Yes, ma'am. I definitely want them to know, because this is something that I was never taught. I never knew anything about trust. I never knew anything about any of this. We just knew about wills and probate. We've been paying taxes our whole lives. So and we know that we get 4 digits once a year. That's all we know. We don't know 6 digits every 3 months. You see what I'm saying? So this is huge for us. So I can't. Like I told you before, I can't thank you all enough, because you all have been a godsend. You've taught me so many things through the chat, listening to the videos over and over again, and just the spiritual aspect of everything just confirmed a lot of things that I was already learning, and had been wondering about. And I'm like, yes, this is it. I mean, this is really, really it. So, I really, really appreciate you both so much, and everybody who also has contributed to the expansion of my knowledge, because, you all have been very wise and confident with the things that you all have shared. And so thank you so much for your help. I just wanted to, just say that.
Yes, ma'am. Be a sayer, be a doer, not a sayer, That's what it takes.
Oh, bless you, sis.
Yes, bless y'all. Be a gift, y'all. Trying to figure out that word change too, but yes, definitely. Definitely. You all are gifts. Thank you.
Thank you, Javon. You guys are too, really.
Thank you. Appreciate you so much.
And Michael, I see you're asking about the SSI people, if they can do the ES. That's sort of what Jovan is talking about. So we're unsure as to what the repercussions will be with people on government benefits, because a lot of the time there is income limits depending on what type you're on or that sort of thing. So you just have to be, you have to understand that there may be one or the other in that instance. So we're not 100% positive. That's something that we're trying to figure out as well. But if you know somebody or have a child that's not, I would, if I were in your position, at least I would show them how to do it and tell them, hey, you want to help your dad out? You want to help your mom out? Or I know the first thing I'm doing is giving half of this to my parents when I get it, because I know they need the help. And I'm sure if you are in that sort of situation, your kids would want to do the same, especially if you can do this every year and go back 3 years. I don't know what I'd do with $750K. Definitely buy some land and pay off all my family's debts. But that's sort of where we're at with that. Did you have any other questions in regard to that, or Michael?
Thank you for the opportunity. Yes. No, it's all 2 of my kids. They're adults and they're an SSI. I believe Kim Marie wrote to me, and thank you for that. It's been hard to get to you. I know you're a busy man, and blessing to everyone in here tonight. I'm a truck driver. I'm sorry. I've been listening. That's why you just caught me parking my truck and taking
No, no worries.
and yes, yeah. I'm gonna take care of myself first, and of course, I'm gonna take care of them. But that was one of my questions. I haven't do the filing yet because I have a few questions about it. Doubts. But I have Debbie and Natoya, and I'm gonna start filing everything, and then they're gonna check to see my process if it is everything correct. I'm gonna look into the videos and so on, and gonna do that tomorrow. If God
Beautiful.
permits, I don't barely have time, but like I said, thank you everyone for the help that you guys offering to everyone. And thank you, Duke, for the opportunity. I know, like I said, you're a hard guy to get.
I know. I'm sorry, guys.
But it's okay. No, it's okay. It's okay. I understand everything, and I'll thank you for the opportunity. Like I said, this is a blessing because you just caught me, and I just shut off my truck because I couldn't barely talk because the noise of the cabin, and my
Sure.
batteries went off of my system. And I'm just picking up my phone and I'm just listening to my name and about the questions, and answering. I say, wow, what a blessing. You just caught me right now. But thank you.
Well,
I've been listening
welcome,
to
man.
all of you guys. You guys are wonderful.
Beautiful. And we'll be here to stay. So, if anything comes up, put it in the chat. There's plenty of us who are well versed in the private banking world, at least, and we'll be able to answer any questions or try our best.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold on to that for now for my kids. I'm just gonna try if any one of you guys have the remedy on that, because I know the consequences, because they depend on on the SSI, and
Sure.
I mean so I just don't want to do something and then consequences come behind it. So
sure, beautiful.
But thank you, you guys, and have a good night. And
Thank
you
you,
for everything.
Michael. Thank you for driving and shipping and hauling for us. If I got it, you brought it. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I served the military for 27 years. I'm an old man, 60-year-old.
Thank you for your service, brother.
Wow, thank you so much. And you're still serving your community, and I'm just so grateful for that. And I really hope that this process is going to bring you all the gold that you deserve, my brother.
Thank you, ma'am. And thank you, everyone. That's a blessing.
Brother. Beautiful.
All right, I'm gonna step down, and thank you again.
Of course, yeah. Thank you, man. Finance here. I know. I think I called on you earlier. I can't keep up. I'm sorry. Did you still have a question? Looks like you posted something about the 56 and 3949A.
Yes. The question was when you were talking about the courts, but I know that's a little off topic. Someone did kind of assist with that.
Okay. Did you have anything in specific you need, or was it for child support?
No, it was for a bench warrant that was put out against my state for a traffic ticket from 2019 that I'm really just getting notice of. So just wanted to assess the tax properly and get that handled. And I was asking, would that be through the 3949A and the 56?
I'm not too familiar. Maybe Kim Marie has a little more insight there.
I think the best way to get all of these cases assessed properly, my lady, is to do a 1099 on all these folks.
The B in particular. It causes an audit, so that could in the court cases the case number is the account number. So that's what you would put in account number, I believe.
Okay.
But
so just file the 1099B and obviously send a affidavit over to the court.
No. So what you're going to want to do is follow the instructions on the B. Remember the 5 pages? We haven't really gone over those and read those out yet. So we don't have a clean recording of it yet because I like to listen to instructions, on audio. I like to listen to things on repeat because it helps me so I don't miss things, right?
Right.
But
We can do that too,
every account, yeah, we're planning that, I think, right, Marduk?
Yeah.
So every bank account, okay, every case number is a bank account. So the minute we report that B on tax 1099, the fiduciary, the head fiduciary, gets that report. Think about it like we're sending the report to our dad who's behind the desk at our estate, and except for we're away, so he has to get it through a portal, and he gets the memo. Think about it like a fax, right? Like my daughter's name, that all caps daughter in public. Someone's charging, or someone accidentally crashed into her Social Security card person. Oh, I have a duty to get that account audited. Let's see how much you took from my daughter. And since I'm the father of all of these children, I'm going to go ahead and check their books to see who else they might have stolen from. You feeling me? You feeling me? It's not just an audit for our case, ladies and gentlemen. It's an audit, and that audit goes back. They're not just checking with this one window of opportunity. They're looking to see how many others may have been stolen from. And we're just the one coming forward as the whistleblower that's going to benefit everybody that entity has overreached its authority and Title 18 violated us.
Right. Okay. So just fill out the 1099B, and then I don't have to send anything to them, putting them on notice, or.
Do you have your trust and everything set up?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Okay. So what the letter that you're going to be sending, right, to the Secretary of State and the Attorney General, right? Okay. So you can simply send in. Well, you already sent it into the IRS. You're sending it to the Secretary of State and the AG. So when your trust filing goes in, who's responsible for the trust? Mama. Who's responsible for the family's name getting brought into the public place and that name being known and the minor being injured, right? So dad's responsible for the protection of the vessel. Mom's responsible for the sustenance of the vessel, right? So think of Cincinnati, where all of our CP 575s come out of, is the treasury, the treasure, the purser, the treasure box, the safekeeping box, right? And now that foreclosures are illegal and our Social Security cards have been held for ransom, the CRIS courts, the court system, can no longer benefit. There's no incentive anymore. They don't get to get into our treasury accounts anymore. Once you have a living trust and you've notified the AG and the Secretary of State. So the same letter that you sent to, let's say, the Secretary of State, you can go ahead and put a copy of that, or the AG of the state, go ahead and put a copy of your notification that you sent to the AG along with your B. You want to really assess it? Put it on the record that it's been assessed.
Right.
Guess what? Whoever's looking at that is going to go, if she could do that, I should be able to do that. So you might want to actually, while you're at it, go ahead and put the 5 pages to gift them a little gold, put the 5 pages in the court record. They're going to know they got a free audit now.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
It's really big stuff, because remember I said, if you can never cause a liability to yourself if you're sending a payment, an inquiry, or an offer. So what are you actually sending to put on the record at the court where you accidentally got put in the public? You're putting a offer.
Okay. Okay, awesome.
It's an offer. It's an offer. Here's a heads up, court. Better get your books in order. Hope you paid your taxes.
Okay.
Hope your electricity bill's on time. The electricity bill might go out here, or your court records might get hacked by Blockbit or whoever took the Social Security cards. Who was that? Blockbit or whatever, some hacker. So hopefully your records are clean, or we're going to own you. Not, I say we, but daddy's home. And daddy got reported to. Okay. So if their hands are clean, great. If not, it doesn't hurt that we got them a free audit.
Okay.
And you're the only one that could. Why? Because your social's the one that got charged, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So it got ran, didn't it?
Yep.
And it got what would you call it? It's more like a Hobbs Act violation. It's your vessel has been burdened and plundered.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. So in that case, with the 1099B being the audit, where does the 3949A come in?
Well, if you want to fill out that someone used your person's name in a public venue, and you want to fill out a 3949A, then you would be naming the person who actually is named on your papers. So it would be if the court stamped it, and if the clerk of the court or the magistrate or the judge, whoever's name is on it, is going to be the one that received your barter, your signature. And if they misused it, that's on them, and that'll come out in the audit. You just had to do your duty to report it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what you could put on the 3949A is Hobbs Act violation, or what, I don't know, however you want to fill out the 39A, but you're more than you're more than welcome to fill that out. I think any information that we report, like it's
beneficial.
It's an inquiry. The IRS calls it an inquiry, and it just sounds weird to call it that. But when you're putting something in the record, it's an inquiry.
Mm-hmm.
When you're doing a 3949A and it's an information referral, it's treated as an inquiry because it's an incoming data set, right?
Mm-hmm.
From one ship to another, from one fax to another, from one email address to another. In the world of communications, it's not a page of the order of, it's here's my inquiry. As King of Quest Ion.
Mm-hmm.
You get it?
Mm-hmm.
Just note, for your information, FYI, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you know that you have to mail the 3949A to the Ogden address where the attorneys are.
Yes.
Yep.
I do. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you for doing your duty and reporting it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Renard.
Yeah, of course. Onyx, did you still have a question, brother or sister? Brother? Onyx?
Yeah.
It's 11 o'clock here where I'm at, Marduk.
You want to wrap it up?
Maybe 10 more minutes.
Sure. Okay, let's try to keep it, maybe questions everybody can learn from as well. I know we all have our own situations, but we'll make the most out of the last 10 minutes or so. The recording is about to end too, so I guess that'll be good. It's a 4-hour maximum. We've been on here for 4 hours, so. El Phoenix. Joseph, you there, brother? Oh, did he hop off? Okay.
Hello?
Okay, we have Gita Shem. You have a question? Gita? All right, Morningstar. Morningstar. Okay. Millie?
Good evening, everybody. I just wanted to share a short story about the things I've experienced over the last couple of days. First of all, I posted that the Melon, is not working. It is being rejected. I did a few payments, and the next day I woke up and it didn't feel right. So I am not surprised that it didn't work. Secondly, I was able to meet up with a lovely woman today. We decided to buddy up and do some of this work together, and we met in a library in Cincinnati. And
awesome.
Totally awesome.